Hello. Hold on. I need to um how you call it? Show myself. Here we go. I'm here. How are you? How is everyone? How's anyone? How's the one that's here? By language squashed, I mean that there's a small group, a small offset of people that would like to have their language recognized as a language, but that right has been denied to them because Poland has a fascist president. Yeah, I'm gonna be the leftist that's gonna call everybody a fascist. Speaking of which, I'm gonna have a conversation on Tuesday with we're going back to the past. It's gonna be a blast to the past because as it turned out very recently, a lot of prominent people from the so-called skeptic, atheist, new atheism community are in the Epstein files. And so on Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about a podcaster that years ago had a very uncomfortable interview with an organizer of, I think at the time, the biggest atheist convention. And they talked about abuse and they talked about Lawrence Krauss and his alleged sexual abuse. And we're gonna tie it to Epstein. The person that I'm going to be interviewing is called Dave Worley. He's been pretty well known in the atheist communities. After that very strange interview, the interview was like in 2020. So it's been quite a while since that happened, which is why I'm calling it a blast to the past. Many quite big channels commented on it back in the day. Some of them had over 300,000 subscribers. So we're going to have that person on and we're going to have a little bit of a discussion about the recent revelations from the Epstein files and how that reflects on events past and the actors of said events past. So look forward to that. Look forward to the interview that I've got on Tuesday. Also, I keep working on that. I, of course, am still working on going back to Ukraine to do more interviews. And I'm working on my first mini history essay that you'll be able to watch if you are a Patreon. It's a Patreon exclusive content that I have concocted. And little comic books. That's also for Patreons. Since I've decided to revive also my additional media when it comes to raising funds and raising, stuff. Art is a prominent part of those efforts. Art is definitely a prominent part of my presence when it comes to notifying people what I do on the daily. And also I've got coffee. I might as well. I should do commands that would tell people that I have those things. I should definitely do some. Like people could just type in coffee or Patreon and would get that thing. I think we're gonna kick off things with our. I'm not sure where to kick off things from. The Polish news or international news or just all the weird ass things that have been happening. The Epstein hearing has been a giant mess where the Prosecutor General has been flailing and just making a fool of herself. It was definitely a spectacle to behold. And then we have the Winter Olympics debacle where a Ukrainian taking part in the Olympics had tried to commemorate family members killed by the Russian Federation and was immediately disqualified. This, I think we might as well talk about that one as well. Just shows what kind of world we are living in and kind of reinforces my point about Ukraine being effectively abandoned when it comes to the conflict. It is a sad reality, but it's reality nonetheless, no matter how you slice it. Ukraine is a place that has been abandoned effectively. So that is definitely a thing that we can talk about. Right? Wild, wild stuff. Hold on. I'm gonna go grab a drink. And of course, all this is happening as I'm trying to tackle 3 channels. One for flop and entertainment and art. One for the one here for news, which I'm probably going to bolster via live interviews. That should give it some traffic. And the one for interviews and different interviews, war interviews and documentary style films. In fact, let me check something. According to my poll that I started, only 6 people reacted to the poll, but that's still better than nothing. People do want art on the streams, but it seems like it does seem like people would like to be also informed on whether or not there's going to be art during those streams. The new Blur White video is doing well on the main channel. 281 views. Which for my channel, that's actually not bad at all. Interesting. So I guess things are kind of going as they're going. Alright, I guess we're going to start this stream with me talking about the US Minister of Health. Because apparently might as well go through the crazy stuff. I know that I have a different channel for slop, for crazy content, for content that is too ridiculous to talk about, but seriously. But I'm sorry, the most ridiculous people I suppose, hold the most powerful offices in the land in the United States. And it is difficult for me not to discuss the fact that, well, this happened. Hold on. Let me show you. Let me just switch. I don't know why it became so small all of a sudden. There we go.
You know, I mean, for me, I said this when we came in, and I said, I don't care what happens, I'm going to a meeting every day.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not scared of a germ. You know, I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats. And I know this disease will kill me.
Right.
Like if I don't treat it, which means going to meetings every day, it's just bad for my life. You know, I mean, for me.
So basically, the US is facing the biggest sewage leak in the history of the country. Let's not forget that's still ongoing in the Maryland area. The Potomac River, the over 500 million sewage spewing into the river. We're talking about bacteria that are resilient to antibiotics. And here we have the Minister of Health that said, with the slogan of "Let's make America healthy again," saying that he is actually not scared of a germ because he used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats. So who cares really? Who is worried about health? Who's worried about health? Who's worried about stuff like fighting germs? Who's worried about any hygiene standard when you have a minister who used to, again, snort cocaine off toilet seats? This is the current state of America, I suppose, where you have a minister of health that is skeptical about vaccines, is not scared of germs, wants to cut research on many crucial medical discovery, including cancer research, although he acted very surprised when he was informed that that was the case. And then you have the president that is trying to undermine any and all standards, that is trying to cut funding to federal agencies, that is trying to fire as many federal workers as possible, to create as many healthcare crises all over the country as possible, and that is terrorizing people with a brown shirt like quasi-police force on the streets. Welcome to America. Welcome to current day America, I suppose. It doesn't seem like... I keep hearing that Trump is done, that Trump is just... things are going bad for him, that MAGA is done, but so far the damage is done. So far the damage is continuing to be done, and I'm not as optimistic about the prospects of the bad times ending anytime soon. I'm not as optimistic about the state of the world and the state of the United States, considering that the news that we are receiving are basically divided into either ridiculous or horrifying. We have horrifying news about the state of, oh yeah, and also let's not forget that the cutting of US aid has undermined not just health in the US, but also all around the world. Let's not forget that under Trump, the United States have left the World Health Organization. That's also a big contributor to making not just the United States, but the entirety of the world much less healthy. So again, prepare yourself for a world where international law will mean little to nothing. Prepare yourselves for the world where a lot of more people will die from preventable disease because aid has been withdrawn. And also prepare for research into medicine to be set back years. Even though people like Elon Musk would like to tell you that actually AI will solve it all. Elon Musk's Grok will do all the research by itself. Elon Musk's Grok will perform miracle surgeries and actually solve the need for work altogether, and everybody will just receive a magical amount of money. All the population of the world will just stay at home, and everything will be done by robots guided by artificial intelligence. That's the promise of a multi-billionaire that does not actually care about anybody but himself. So I think the sentence said by RFK Jr. very grimly illustrates the current situation that we have found ourselves in. It perfectly emphasizes what kind of a leadership the most powerful country has found itself under. I am not scared of a germ. I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. If this is the Minister of Health, then actually, let me check. Is there any commentary on this? Protect our care. The Hill. Kennedy, an anti-vaccine activist, appeared on this past weekend when he made a remark. He reflected on meeting with Vaughn at recovery meeting in Los Angeles area when he brought up still going in-person recovery meeting during the COVID-19 pandemic. The secretary, who has been in recovery for over 40 years, called it heartbreaking when meeting tried to go virtual rather than in person. The two moved on to discuss Kennedy's work at HHS, and he reflected on his time working as a lawyer. He worked as a lawyer? Oh yeah, he doesn't have any qualifications to be the Minister of Health, does he? He actually is not even educated in this. He actually has no clue what he's doing. I actually forgot about that for a hot moment. For a hot moment, I forgot that RFK Jr.'s qualifications is not in defending the medical field. What are RFK Jr.'s qualifications? Boom. An attorney. Oh, wow. Okay. RFK Jr. I guess we will end on this note. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is an attorney, author, and an environmental activist. Yeah. Yeah, he's completely out of his depth. Which... Oh. Hold on. Hold on. We might as well listen to this part of the hearing because a lot of interesting things came from that hearing.
Afternoon. Good.
I don't like TikTok. TikTok is messed up. Okay.
You did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
At times, it seemed more like a bad reality TV show than a congressional hearing.
Yeah.
Reclaiming my
Yeah, it did. It was very interesting.
and when I will reclaim my time,
I'm not determined the gentlelady is
I'm
reclaiming
not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
But there were serious questions about the DOJ's handling of the Epstein files.
To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice.
And questions from Republican Thomas Massey about the redactions made in the latest release of 3 million Epstein documents, which quickly devolved.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician.
The exchanges fast and
This
testy.
this is the Attorney General, by the way, talking about the Trump derangement syndrome. This person is the Attorney General.
You don't want to answer the
No,
question.
you don't get anything regarding public safety.
Thank you.
Nothing.
Thank you for the insult.
Bondi, as ever, defended her boss.
I find it interesting that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history.
As she did the last time she appeared before a congressional committee, Bondi would often turn the tables on the person asking the questions.
He represents New York. Wow. Yet he doesn't care about the illegal aliens convicted of crimes, assault and homicide.
Time and again, House Democrats would try to turn the page.
But we're going to move back to you.
I bet we are.
Yes, of course, because you're here to testify. That's what the whole point of this endeavor is.
That may be.
Oh my God, what an embarrassment. Oh my God. This is American politics now. We're gonna turn back to you. I bet you are. I bet you're gonna turn back to me. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Oh my gosh.
Meeting's end, there were far more insults than answers.
You don't tell me.
But listen, Donald Trump himself has actually made a statement on the Epstein files, believe it or not. A very interesting statement. He said that it's boring. He said that he is surprised that anybody's interested in the biggest pedophile scandal in history, that anybody would be interested in the details of a powerful figure, powerful financier, having the biggest pedophile ring in the history of the world and inviting powerful people from all around the globe to it and kidnapping children from various different countries. Yeah, that's, who cares about that? That's boring. Let's listen it from the man himself. Take it away, Donald.
President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled? Why
I
do you
don't
think that is?
understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life.
Yeah, he was never a big factor in terms of life. He only had connections to all the most powerful people in the world, all the most powerful politicians, actors, all the most powerful celebrities, scientists. But, you know, he was never a big factor when it comes to life. Especially, he definitely was not a factor when it came to the life of all of his victims. Of course, no factor at all. Just a boring, unassuming guy, right? Just nothing to see, nothing to sing about.
I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given.
I mean, of course, Trump would be surprised that people are interested in it, considering that he, I believe, is the person that is most mentioned in those files. I think, I don't know, 1 million times or something. He's just so prominent in those files.
Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring.
Yeah, it's kind of boring. Yeah, of course. It is so boring.
And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Yeah, only boring and evil people would be interesting in, you know, bringing people that allowed Epstein, that helped Epstein in upkeeping his pedophile empire to justice. Only bad people would like that, right? Only bad people would want justice for the victims of Epstein's pedophilic ring. Great. Thank you, Donald Trump. Let's wait a minute. I think Donald Trump has made his stance on abuse clear in one instance. Hold on. Because Trump is such an upstanding guy, and I'm sure that he has never said anything that would be weird or sus when it comes to the topic of abuse of other people. Let me see. I think I have something. I could have sworn that I had something here. Oh, well. What do we have here? What do we have here? Hold up. Let me just paste this in. What do we have here? Oh, it's young Trump. A clip of Trump arguing with David Letterman that the teenage girl Mike Tyson brutally raped was to blame. Hold on. Trump blaming victims of abuse? Well, let's hear it. Maybe it's a misunderstanding.
I think that Mike Tyson had a horrible defense. I think
but again, what you're saying is that celebrities maybe should be treated differently than lay people.
And I say Mike should serve some time and everything else. But to keep a man, here's a woman that was dancing at his door at 1 o'clock in the morning. Dancing.
We don't need to get into this. We don't need to get into this.
But that's an important thing.
Hey, don't get me hot, okay? You know I'm only kidding.
I know.
Hey, good to see you again.
Nice seeing you.
Thank you for your time. Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I know that. I know that Mike Tyson abused that girl, but you know what? She was dancing at his door at 1 a.m. So whose fault was it really? Was it his? Or maybe it was the girl. So I don't know. I'm starting to see why Donald Trump would see the whole Epstein thing as boring. I can see why he doesn't see what the big deal is. I can see why he doesn't see why anybody would be interested in bringing people to justice, considering that, who knows, maybe he thinks that Epstein's victims are ultimately to blame. Who knows, based on what I've just seen here. Maybe Trump has his own ideas on the details of the case. Also, not all files have been released. As much as Trump says that all the relevant information has been released, a lot of those files have not yet been released. And even regarding the files that have been released, there's a whole debacle about the names of the perpetrators being redacted and the names of the victims not being censored out, which apparently has been fixed, quote unquote, but not exactly, and not exactly on time. Just enough that some of the victims that never came out publicly have now become known publicly, their identities. So again, we live in very, very interesting times, unfortunately. Unfortunate reality is that we do live in very, very interesting times, sadly. And there is very little recourse for that. There's very little recourse for that. All right. Before we go back to the horrifying stuff that relates to Epstein, before we go back to the goings-ons of the Winter Olympics, which I guess me not being really interested in those Olympics is proving to be justified somehow. I feel like I've been validated in my not watching the event. Let's talk about language a bit. Let's talk about the rights of minorities to be able to establish their own language. Polish president vetoes bill recognizing Silesian as regional language because there is this little minority in Poland, the Silesians, in the western part of Poland, which, interestingly enough, Ukrainian people and Silesians have a bit of a joint history. Let me look something up for you. There you go. But there's even more. Upper. There you go. The flag of Upper Silesia. It is yellow and blue. And does it remind you of anything? Does it remind you of anything, this flag? Yes. If you know anything, then you know that it reminds you of the flag of Ukraine. And apparently there is a connection, actually. I'm not sure if it's going to be described in English, but Let me see. But yes, basically it's the inverted flag of Ukraine. Nope. A moment. I'm gonna pour myself a drink and then we can continue talking about how the Polish president basically refused to accept Silesian as its own language, even though in my personal opinion that absolutely should be done. It is very interesting that certain Polish people are, especially the former chief of a historical institute, is so fast to forget what it feels like for people to have their language squashed, to have their hopes denied. Polish president vetoes bill recognizing Silesian as a regional language. The Polish president has vetoed a bill that would officially recognize Silesian as a regional language in Poland, dealing a blow to the minority Polish community that speaks it. So it is basically, it is as I said, I mean, a minority within Poland speaks a language. They would like this language to be recognized as one separate from Polish, as its own completely separate language. There has been a bill put forward by the current government to make that happen, to allow the status of the language to be established in law. But the far-right president, Karol Nawrocki, has vetoed that bill, which is one of the main things that a president in Poland can do. And his justification for it is that it fuels the flames of separatism. Yes, that is actually his justification for this move. Silesian, which is spoken in communities throughout southwestern Poland, has long been at the center of a dispute over whether it constitutes its own distinct language or is simply a dialect of Polish, which again is very interesting to hear such discussions in Poland. I think there's a bit of irony to this sort of discussion. In my opinion, of course, if you want to hear what I have to say about it, if the people want it, if they are fighting for it, then absolutely it should be recognized as its own language. I think that goes without saying. I think it's something that should not be up to debate. It should not be up for debate. There have been 9 attempts in Poland to pass laws recognizing it as a language, 2 in the current parliamentary term, according to the Polish press agency. The latest bill granting it official language status was passed by Parliament on January 9th and approved by Poland's Senate a couple of weeks later, but was vetoed by the President Karol Nawrocki on Thursday. There you go. The Polish president has the power to obstruct any bill that he does not like, any law that he does not from passing. And unfortunately, the currently ruling coalition does not have the supermajority necessary to overrule that veto, which effectively means that the current Polish president can paralyze a lot of governmental reform. In his justification for blocking the bill, the president said, "I respect and greatly value the tradition and culture of Silesia. It is an integral part of the heritage of the Republic of Poland. However, scientific facts are not established by a vote in parliament. Experts in linguistics indicate that Silesian is a dialect of Polish. We cannot create a precedent in which a political majority decides scientific matters," Nawrocki added. Languages are not hard science, by the way. So it is a completely empty argument. Language is not physics. Language is not math. Language is not biology or chemistry. It's not a hard science. So saying that politics cannot decide scientific matters is a completely silly argument in this case. If a significant amount of people speaking a certain language, I'd probably be able to understand it. If a significant amount of people say what they speak is a separate language, then what happened to self-determination? What happened to that rule? The reality of the situation is that yes, it should be established as a separate language. The whole science argument does not speak to me in the slightest in this case. It's an empty argument, in my opinion. The bill was introduced by lawmakers from Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk's centrist Civic Coalition party, with MP Monika Rosa arguing that the language and cultural heritage of the Polish region of Upper Silesia have not previously enjoyed the protection and support that they deserve. Only through teaching in schools can the Silesian language survive, and it should survive because the survival of every language and linguistic diversity is of great value, Rosa added, according to the press office. Officially recognized Silesian as a regional language would pave the way for the introduction of voluntary Silesian language classes in schools and the installation of bilingual Polish-Silesian signs in towns where more than 20% of residents speak Silesian, PAP reported. So there you go. It is a ridiculous fact that Poland, that in the past has been subjugated into the German Empire, or rather into Prussia, Poland that has been in the past subjugated by the Russian Empire, Russified, Germanified, Polish language not recognized. It is quite hilarious that right now the Polish state would deny a group of people their language and say, no, it's just Polish. That is an argument that I have heard before, actually. I have heard this argument time and time and time again by Russia. The fact that Poland uses Russian-style arguments towards a group of people is highly disturbing to me. And this is why I think that it is very important to talk about this. It is very important to make a big stink about this. And it is very important to point out this bizarre turn of events when it comes to Polish politics, which I'm sure is something that if I don't talk about it as an English-speaking Polish political commentator, nobody would have ever even heard about this. I'm 100% sure that if I don't talk about it to an English-speaking language, nobody will have ever heard about it. Hello, Simon Pierre Dubé. Yeah, you're right, Incub. Incub says also not recognizing Silesian would make separatism worse in Poland, not better. Yes, correct. It is well known that it is a well-known fact that subjugating a people does not make them more happy. It would also open door for funding aimed at preserving the minority language and would require that 2 Silesian-speaking representatives be appointed to a government commission on national and ethnic minorities. Close to 500,000 people in Poland speak Silesian, according to the country's 2021 census, that is a big amount of people. That is a big amount of speakers. And again, my closing thoughts are the law should absolutely be allowed to pass. The fact that we have a far-right president is a huge damage to Poland long-term. Silesian absolutely should be recognized as its own language, and it should be preserved and cultivated. It's a ridiculous thing that Poland is practicing, in this case, a very Russian policy when it comes to preservation of culture and language. And that's it. That is what I have to say on this subject. Any questions? This is one of those things when I'm actually one of the only sources of information on this. I'm pretty sure whoever will watch this video will probably, an English speaker I mean, will probably hear of this for the first time ever. But Poland has gone through so much. Poland would never do such a thing. It has been subjugated and conquered so many times. Poland is the good one. No, Poland is also the shit one. I'm sorry to inform. But Poland is just as much as shit one as all the others. Poland is just as shit as all the others. You want to hear Silesian? Let's try to find. How will this affect the trout season? All the trouts will die of embarrassment over Poland. There you go. There's also the Kashubian language, by the way, but there you go. We're gonna listen to some Śląski język. Is it muted or something?
No toż to ja normalnie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
15 sounds very different.
18,
Because it's 15 in Polish, and 15 sounds different.
18, 19, 20.
19 i 20 sound, those sound different.
1, 20, 2, 20, 3, 20, 4, 20, 5, 20.
A potem ino te 30, 40,
Ja.
50, ino te główne liczby.
30, 1, 30, 40, 1, 40, 50.
The numbers sound actually different from Polish. I understand what he's saying, but it's not how you say it in Polish.
1, 50.
50 już
Ja, to już 50, ja. 60, 1, 60 i tak do góry. 70,
In
80.
Polish you say 61, and in Silesian you say 1 and 60, for example, from what I'm hearing.
Nie, 100 to było normalnie.
1000.
1000 też. Ja, to też. 1000 też.
No a powiecie, ta wasza mowa, jak takie młode pokolenie rządzi jeszcze po...
Rządzą. Pierw chce rządzą.
Ale już coraz zmieni.
No, coraz zmieni już. Bo to potem do szkoły, do szkoły już muszą tak rządzić.
Mama się poślizgła.
No, po polsku i teraz właśnie młodzi, bardzo rzadko sobie tak młodzi rządzili tą jeszcze naszą gwarą.
A jak wy rządzicie z waszym cerum?
Sero, no też gwarzymy z nią, ale chłop się wadzi ze mną, że z nią mówimy, ale to już...
My normalnie sobie rządzimy, jak rządzimy normalnie, ale no tak to go kupa
How do you like the language?
jest bajek. No, tak, nie rządzi tak, też rządzi takie słowa, jako my też rządzi, ale...
A w szkole uczą też waszej mowy?
Nie.
Tu? Ani trochę?
Ani trochę.
This was a good question, by the way, that was just asked. Do they teach your language at school? Not at all. Not at all.
Dlatego to tak może zagibo ta mowa, bo to...
No bo to małe dziecka rosną.
I can
to
understand
tak
it.
zaczną ludzie potem im tam
I can definitely understand it though.
Bo potem jak zaczęli są same nie umią nic tak po polsku tam ze swojego tego, to potem błędnie piszą okropnie.
No ale to na początku jest normalne, że błędnie piszą. To mają pora, żeby się
potem
nauczyć.
też tak nie rozumiały dziecka, co się rządziło, nie rozumiały tych słów, co im powiedzieli tam po polsku, to tego nie rozumiały.
To jak się rządziło na babcie i dziadka wcześniej?
Jeszcze ja jak była dzieckiem, to się rządziło na babcię i dziadka się mówiło matka i tacik.
Marysiu,
Matka i
bawi
tacik.
się pies.
A na ojca i mama?
A to jest mama i tata. To było mama i tata. Ale ja potem dzieci się myliły we szkole, bo jak było dzień babci, to nie
Oh my
chodziło
god.
na babci.
Okay,
Jak się
this
rządziło na
this is very interesting. This is like I don't even know how to explain it. The words for mother and father and grandfather was very interesting because the word for grandfather in Silesian is like the word for father in Polish, and the children apparently were mixing it up and confused.
Babcie i dziadka wcześniej.
Jeszcze ja jak była dzieckiem, to się rządziło na babcię i dziadka się mówiło matka i tacik.
Matka is mother in Polish, and matka was grandmother, so it's very interesting. I have not had much contact with the language itself myself, so I am kind of discovering it alongside you with this video. Matka and tacik. Very interesting.
Matka i tacik.
A na ojca i mama?
A to jest mama i tata. To było mama i tata. Ale ja potem dzieci się myliły we szkole, bo jak było dzień babci, to nie wiedział co to jest. A dzień matki, to sobie myśleli, że to jest ta babcia. Nie swoja mama, ale że to jest babcia.
A to słowo starka wam jest nieznane.
Starka, nie starka, to są Słowacy.
Aha.
Już te młodzi już nie mówią, bo już Marysi nie rządzimy, żeby rządził tam tacik, bo matka, bo to potem jakby idzie kany między dziecka, to ja...
Here we go. Any other questions? Hello, Emily. Yes. Yeah. We're discovering languages here. Also, remember to show this stream to people, because still it seems like the discoverability of my new channel is lower even than the old. So the viewership is even lower than on the old channel, but it's okay. It's okay. No, I can't. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. Once I decide on a course, I stick to it. Okay, I stick to my guns. Once I make a decision to do something. Also, I have activated myself a lot more on Patreon. So that's a thing. I have activated myself a lot more on Patreon, as you can see. I have uploaded a little bit of a comic page on Patreon for all tier members. So if you want to see my mini comic, you can become at least a tier 1 Patreon, which is $1. Okay, so to read the Lucy has a comic, just become a $1 Patreon and you have access. I still haven't decided the mini essays on history, which tier should have the access to that. So I still have to decide on that one. That is still something that I have to think long and hard on. But yeah, we have listened to the language. Oh God, this has a lot of views. 135,000 views. And the channel itself only has 623 subscribers. What a head video for such a small channel, huh? What a head video. This is from 13 years ago, this video. Someone in the comments said it is interesting that the Silesian is closer to Western Ukrainian than Polish. That is interesting, isn't it? Isn't that interesting? Don't you find this fascinating? That it makes sense though. Does it? Listen, look at the map, okay? Śląsk na mapie Polski, okay? This is where Śląsk is. Silesia, okay? So I don't know. It feels like on an intuitive level, does it make sense? Like Ukraine is here. You can see the cursor, right? On the stream. Can you see the mouse cursor on stream? I don't think you can. Let me show. Oh, you see? Okay. Show the some proper map. So, if Ukraine is here, okay? If Ukraine is here, and Silesia is like in the western bit, then does it really make that much sense? You know, considering the placement on the map, does it really make that whole lot of sense? I guess it makes sense if you think about the partition times. Okay? Yeah, there was plenty of interaction under the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, and then there was also the interaction in the... That's true. If you combine these countries, you will get the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. After the war. After the war. Which year? Which was the exact year? I think it was after the USSR collapse. '93, yeah. After the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1993. As the collapse of the Czechoslovakia. It would be interesting. Actually, Why is Silesian similar to Western Ukrainian? There's nothing on it.
Koszty kredytu firmowego.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch to the...
My name is Christina and I'm from Ukraine.
And my name is Eliza and I'm from Poland.
Perfect. So for this one, we're gonna let our audience keep
We're gonna do some language thing and then we're gonna move on to the to other news.
score and let us know who won at the end. So whoever gets the word right on their first try gets 3 points, and then if they need a hint, they get 1 point. You're familiar with this, and you know how it works as well. So, you know, and then when we get to the sentences, it gets a little bit more difficult. I'll give you a word, you come up with a sentence using that word, and if you get the sentence correct, you get 5 points.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Here is your first word.
So I'm first. Okay. Сміятися.
Сміятися. Laugh?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
How do you say?
Yeah, they're similar. They're probably gonna get most of them right. Polish and Ukrainian have a huge overlap in vocabulary.
Późno.
Late?
Yes.
Oh, it's
Is
similar.
it so? In Ukraine,
Yeah,
it's
have you-
pizno?
Pizna.
It's
Yeah.
so
There you
sweet.
go.
Pizno, późno. Okay.
pretty
It's just like, yeah, one sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one thing keep in mind.
Okay, true.
The words are sometimes they're going to be maybe exactly the same, but just pronounced a little bit differently.
Yeah. Простий.
Straight. Prosty.
Kind of.
Easy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, like
Simple,
easy
easy.
Yeah.
guy, easy going.
Yeah.
Miasto.
City?
That's
yes,
right.
that
yeah.
was, I think, almost the same. Yeah.
Місто?
How do you,
Misto.
Oh.
It's really close. Птах.
Bird?
Yeah.
Okay. Ptak.
Easy peasy, right?
Птах. You see, just a
Ptak.
small,
Yes.
small sounds.
With the sounds, yes.
You see how they're similar, by the way, the words?
Oh, we see птахи.
Ptachy.
That's interesting.
Zmiana.
It sounds for me like cheating in some way.
No.
No. Zmiana?
It's like
I'm surprised that the lady did not know this one. It's change. Zmiana means change.
No hint. No hint. I'm not ready.
She doesn't want to hint yet. She wants to try.
I don't try again.
See if he can get it, or at least get close to it.
zmiana.
Shift? I don't know.
Yeah.
As in, like,
Could be two
Yeah.
meaning.
Yeah, yes, it's close.
Similar meaning, but
you mean like shifting something? Because
Changing?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
And zmienit is similar to zmiana, by the way.
So
Again.
you're on the right track. When you shift.
Солодкий.
Oh,
Sweet. I can already say. I can actually partake, okay? When the Ukrainian person says the Ukrainian word, I will try to check the meaning. Solodki will be sweet.
sweet.
Yeah.
There we go. See? I kind of forgot. Instead of just silently watching, I can just try to take part myself. Let's see how much I will mess up.
Krew.
It's not fair, Lucy. We're born in Kyiv. That's true. You should donate so that I can go back to my home city. Okay, become a tier 1 Patreon. Okay, it's $1. $1. And you will have access to my mini comic books. Okay, I have already uploaded a sample one to Patreon. $1. Okay, my tier 1 Patreon. $1. Alright, let's continue.
It's what?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I say krov. Krov.
Yeah.
Okay.
Krov, crab,
Uh,
same difference.
Do you know what is krova? Krova? Is animal? Yeah. It's krev, krov. Okay. It's
Krova?
similar. Cow? Cow, yes. I say korova. Oh.
See, krova, korova. Basically,
yes,
yes.
yeah, it's similar. Similar.
Alright. This one.
Okay.
Czerwony.
Red. That was, oh, come on. The easiest one, czerwony. It's basically identical in Polish. Red color. Color red.
Yes. Can you say it in Polish? Czerwony. It's very
Oh,
similar.
yeah, that one is. Okay, so here's your next one.
Sąsiad. Once again? Sąsiad.
I think. Is it similar in Ukrainian?
It's a hard one.
I think it might be different in Ukrainian actually.
Can you repeat it? Sąsiad.
It means neighbor, by the way.
Is it a sunflower? I don't know.
No. You're not on the right track. Change a little bit.
Yeah. I can tell you more, but you say it's one hand, so.
Yeah, if you wanna, you could give her. If you want a hint.
I'm gonna lose anyways. Probably. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I really.
Okay,
Can you
so-
say it again? Sąsiad. Sąsiad. No idea. It's a person?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Is it like professional?
No. It's when you are
Neighbor.
When you live in an apartment, you have many of them.
What? It's people.
Yeah. It's
Okay. And then it was like something like spiders, I don't know.
It's
Is it neighbor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Neighborhood.
Sąsiad. Sąsiad.
How do you say it in
reading in your language. Sushid.
Okay.
Sushid? Sushid. Sushid.
Yeah. So that one changed.
Sushid.
Sushi is very similar to sąsiad. Okay, sushi is very similar to sąsiad. Also, me being born in Kiev is just a meme. I was born in Warsaw. The whole was being born in. That's just a meme. Just so it's clear, I wasn't actually born in Kiev.
Sushid? Sushid.
Sushid.
Very similar. Sushi is similar to sąsiad, actually, to my ear.
Yeah. That's really difficult. It's very exotic, like. Yeah, maybe. For us, it's like.
It changes a little bit.
It's not that. No, it does not sound that exotic. It just sounds like a slightly changed version of the word.
See, like again, like some of the words will have the same root. Right?
Sushid.
Yeah, they do have the same root. Well said.
I don't know, probably in Polish because of this hard pronunciation, different sounds changes.
Yeah,
it's
things
really hard.
change a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's your next.
Czytanie. Reading. Yes.
Good job. How
I'm
do you
not so
say it?
happy now. Czytanie. Wow, that's close. Wybór. Choice? Similar.
Yeah, you make a choice during this process.
You can choose.
You can
When
know.
you can choose the major or
I'm gonna watch a bit more and then we move
Like an
on.
election.
yeah, election. Yes.
Well, you had it, right?
Yeah.
So that counts.
Okay, thank you.
How do you say it?
Wybór. Oh no, like elections.
Oh, the election, yeah.
Wybory. Wybory.
Same. Exactly the same.
Maybe wybór is a choice. Actually, in Polish we would say wybory.
For
Regarding
choice?
election.
Or election.
Yeah, we will say wybory. We basically almost always say wybory.
Elections. That is the same. Yeah.
Identical.
One.
Przykład. Przykład.
Example.
Przykład.
An example. Przykład. It's almost identical, okay? Przykład. Command. An example.
Przykład. Ładny? Ładna?
Przykład. An example, okay? It's like przykład, okay? The word is literally almost identical. Przykład. I'm getting annoyed with these people, okay?
No. Beautiful? No.
No, come on. Am I just a better linguist? Am I just a linguistic genius?
Okay. Przykład. Example?
Yes. Well done.
Jak przykład. Co you say? Przykład. Wow.
Yeah, almost identical. I have no idea how you struggled with this.
We have lots of shit.
Yeah. So this one, you can use either or.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same thing.
Podróżować.
It means to travel.
To become friends? Or you can become friends during.
Yeah, you can make friends when you do this.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's buddy? Podróżować. I had only one idea. It was like something with friendship.
It's magic.
Yeah, you can meet lots of people.
Yeah,
Friendship is
something
magic.
We all like to do.
On holidays.
I like that.
It's a hint. I got it. It's a hint. Party? No, really.
Well, the process.
You'll see that the word was probably going to be very similar if I know life.
Holiday is. I mean, you do this when you go on holidays.
When you visiting other countries. Can you say it again? Podróżować. Oh, got it. It's traveling.
Yeah.
Yes. Podróżowaty.
What the fuck? How did she not know it? Podróżowaty. What the fuck? How it's almost identical. How was she confused? Podróżowaty. What the fuck? What really? Seriously? Huh. What could it be? Come on.
Podróżowaty? Podróżowaty, yeah. Podróżowaty. Okay. It's just like
Really? Oh, come on.
it was no O.
Yeah.
For us, podróżować, travel.
Fuck me. It reminds me of that one time when I went to a store in Kyiv, okay? And I was like, is there ketchup in this store? I think I used English in that instance, literally. Ketchup? Can I have some ketchup? And the person just looked at me. What? What do you want? I'm sorry, I don't get it. What do you want? And I went, okay, let me think in Polish terms. Ketchup? And the person was like, oh yeah, okay, of course, here. That actually happened to me. That actually genuinely happened to me. People can be so silly. I swear to God, people can be... Oh boy.
Yeah, but for us, дружити is being friends with someone.
Okay, so yeah,
That's
it's
why I
very
was
close.
like going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, so see, that's how, like that would be travel and then traveling.
Oh, okay.
So I got 2 more words, and with these ones we'll do sentences.
Okay.
Okay? So don't make your sentence too complicated. Try to make it, 4 or 5 words.
Ala ma kota.
Around those lines.
Okay.
Kot ma ale.
Моя машина дуже потужна. I think it's better.
And I need to translate this?
I try to guess the... I don't know.
See, maybe you can even see what you can do. Like, can you get anything out of that? If not, then you can tell her just the word. 4 or 5 words, something around those lines.
Okay.
And
Моя машина дуже потужна. I think it's better.
And I need to translate this?
It's my car, something, my car. Moja maszyna. I know that maszyna is car. Moja maszyna dużo potłuszcza. I'm not sure what the last thing means. So I guess I'm struggling now. I guess I'm the annoying person now.
I try to guess the... I don't know.
see, maybe you can even see what you can do. Like, can you get anything out of that? If not, then you can tell her just the word and see if she can.
Yeah, maszyna is car. My car is something.
My machine
A lot.
is what?
Моя машина дуже потужна.
Hello, Philip
Long.
August.
My car, it's long and big and long.
Yeah, it's
first part.
Getting there. My
My
car
machine is big and long.
If your
Podłużny is long in Polish and
but a big car is what?
duże,
So,
big.
Yeah, but the
Duże is very.
All right.
Just-
All right.
So
Cool.
you need to guess the last word. Дуже потужна.
What it means duże and podłużna. In Polish it means big and long.
I mean, a big car would be this.
It's more of not about the size that we're doing.
Yeah, you can give her a hint.
It's more.
But is it a car, machine, or
Yeah, you guessed like everything except
Yeah.
of last word.
Machine.
Szybki,
Machines.
fast? Yes.
just like me, I'm also struggling with the last word actually.
It comes from but not really.
No, I think you have it, right? Like you kind of have
My
it.
car is good and fast.
Good and effective.
You're getting close. Everything, everything with
Powerful?
the car is right, but it's more of like where it's coming from, why it's fast, why it's big.
Strong. Big and strong.
How can a car be fast?
It's new and fast.
Big engine.
Powerful. It's like strong.
Yeah,
Powerful.
it was powerful.
Oh, I guessed it. Big and strong. I guess I have a big brain. Okay. Lucy for the win. And yet, no congratulations.
Powerful, okay, mocny. Potężny, okay, mocny. Yes,
I know this word, yeah.
Yeah?
It's Polish translation. We use it.
Powerful. Mam 30 biletów na festiwal.
Okay, I'm getting it. Can you say it again?
Mam 30 biletów na festiwal filmowy.
Mom? My mom?
30. No, mom is not...
Not mom.
No.
Okay.
Mam 30 biletów.
I'm getting the end of the sentence.
What do you have?
Like tickets for film festival?
Yeah.
But probably it's not what I'm guessing, right?
The words you didn't guess the.
You haven't gotten the word yet.
But
So you got
I think it's
pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's the one after mom.
Yeah, after mom.
Mom. Mom is me or something like that. I have or
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I have.
You have you got the whole thing except for the actual
Yes, because it's the hardest one.
So say the word. Just say the word.
30.
30.
Yes.
Yeah. Which number?
30.
Which one? Can you say it again?
30.
Sounds like, I don't know, 60?
No.
No.
30.
Somewhere between those.
It's between, less than 60.
Which is also similar in Ukrainian, by the way. 30.
Can you say it again?
30.
30?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
How do you say 30?
30.
30.
It's not. Yeah.
It is close. Come on. It's not even close.
It's really nice Polish example of pronunciation. She,
Yeah.
It's so difficult.
That's true.
You just like change the word.
Yeah, you can get the same Ukrainian and just put a lot of shit there. It's gonna be Polish.
There's a joke that Polish is like Ukrainian when somebody had a stroke. That's actually a joke that circulates.
Take your Ukrainian words and add she and she to it.
That's true.
Yeah.
You can even see it with the spelling.
And
with
the
Polish.
sentence is the same. Like first is I have, then like you can guess the sentence.
Yeah, the structure is the same, but
Structure.
mom, it's I have. That was I just guessed it. I think it's for a film.
No, Polish is like Ukrainian that has a stroke.
Festival was easy.
So you have 30 tickets.
I would say in Ukraine, I'm sorry. Я маю 30 білетів на фестиваль.
Yeah, I could guess.
Yeah, I would have. If I said that, I would have known.
30? 30.
Oh,
now
okay.
Now I know, but
Yeah.
So we have one more word for each, and so you can use either that or that.
Okay.
That should be a simple sentence.
Yeah, I can make.
Difficult.
I don't know whether to say true or not.
It doesn't have to make sense. Your
Yeah, I
sentence can be. You can lie.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, don't lie. Lying is bad.
I like singing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a lie?
I'm just guessing.
But it's not true. It's totally not. No. I'm really bad with it.
How do you say singing?
Śpiewać. Śpiewać.
A lot of us.
Ja lubię śpiewać. Śpiewanie.
It's close.
So, okay, wait 1 second. This one's difficult because I need to change
You
the
can.
words.
You can. Yeah. So say it.
In
say
order
this.
to make a sentence.
Stop lying.
Yeah, it could be.
Different string. Okay.
Yeah, you can change it
Okay.
to.
Stop lying to us.
Obiecuję przyjaźnić się z tobą do końca życia.
Oh, I know what's it.
Oh, really?
The end and the beginning. I just want to guess like really the whole thing. Can you repeat it?
Obiecuję przyjaźnić się z tobą do końca życia.
Wow.
It's either I promise to live with you till the end of
Kind of. To be
Life?
friends with you to the end of your
or
life.
I promise to love you or something like that. Is it?
I said friendship.
Promise to be your friend till the end of.
Okay, that's not I just guessed the.
No, it was good.
Я обіцяю
I think.
and до кінця життя.
Do końca życia.
Yeah, it's really close.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So it was обіцяю, right? Promise.
Yeah, the word was promise. Yeah.
Obietnica. Yeah.
How do you say promise?
Обіцяти.
Yeah.
But it's it.
Close. All right. Good job, guys. Our audience will let us know.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna go to the toilet because the toilet beacons me. Okay, I'm being called to the toilet, and in the meantime, while I do the toilet, and the toilet does me, you invite all of your friends, colleagues, and everyone. Okay, invite everybody to the stream. Okay? Alright, I'll be right back. I will toilet now, like no other person does. And then we do politics. We did a little detour because, you know, the Silesian debacle, but now we have to go back to misery, okay? We had too much fun. Too much fun is bad for your health. Okay, now we're gonna watch something that I wanted to watch for a while, but I have not watched it yet, so I will watch it now. Okay, I am going to watch it now. I'm going to watch an interview. Again, something that no other streamer will do. So other streamers are cowards. I'm very interested in an interview of the Polish Minister of Foreign Affairs. He is, I believe, currently the most popular politician Also, he is well regarded abroad. He's well regarded internationally when it comes to how he handles foreign affairs. He is considered a real professional.
Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Foreign Minister, you have a number of titles. Thank you so much for being with us
My
today.
pleasure.
You're here in part to celebrate 250 years of diplomatic relations between the United States and Poland. How would you describe that relationship today? Is it as strong as ever?
No, it's bad. It's strained.
We are also meeting on the 280th birthday of Tadeusz Kościuszko, our general who fortified West Point and made a contribution to the U.S. struggle for independence.
And also, notably, when he was leaving, said that his entire fortune should be used to free slaves. Kościuszko advocated for the for the abolishment of slavery.
So our relationship has very deep roots, goes back a long way. And we are grateful to the United States for President Wilson's 13th point, for President Hoover's assistance.
We're not grateful for Yalta, okay? Yalta is one of those things that we are probably not so grateful for.
To save Polish children during famine in the 1920s. And then Ronald Reagan and John Paul II were great partners. We then were with you in Iraq and Afghanistan. We joined NATO. We are good allies. And we now also have a great economic relationship. We are building an American nuclear power plant in Poland. We are buying loads of American military equipment. We are beginning to invest in this country. So I hope it grows better and better.
Mm-hmm. A number of European allies last month, after the tension spiked over Greenland and suggestions by the American president that the U.S. might effect a military takeover, said that something fundamental shifted about the relationship.
This interview might have been done before the ambassador debacle. So I'm really curious about it. I'm really curious if they're gonna be mentioning here the spat between the Polish politician and the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador for Poland.
Is that a view you share?
Well, I think the principle of respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all countries, but allies in particular, is one of the foundations of NATO.
Yeah, what's the point of NATO if NATO allies would just invade and attack each other? That would render NATO completely pointless and worthless as a concept.
In your mind, is that threat by the U.S. to take over Greenland in the past, or does it still remain?
You tell me.
We'll see how those talks go. Did those tensions...
It is very telling that the answer to that question is basically, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I have no clue.
Again, over Greenland, do anything to affect the status of talks between Russia and Ukraine and the United States? Did it erode any of the credibility of U.S. security guarantees?
Yes.
Well, for us, of course, Russian aggression against Ukraine is fundamental, existential. We feel threatened by Russia. Russia has waged war, occupied us, wiped us off the map for over a century.
Well, not alone, together with Prussia and Austria. It wasn't just Russia alone doing the erasure. It was also Prussia and Russia. Let's not forget about that little detail.
So when they threaten us, we believe them. And they've now spent longer than the Soviet Union fought the Nazis trying to conquer Ukraine.
Yeah.
By our estimates, they've already suffered opportunity costs of $1 trillion fighting this war and lost more than 1 million dead and wounded soldiers. And still...
Casualties. Let's not mistake the word casualties with the word dead.
We wish US negotiators success in establishing a fair peace.
The only problem is that the United States does not really want to establish a fair peace. So you can wish them luck all you want. That is not what the United States even wants.
But President Putin seems to be demanding.
What the hell happened to the... What happened to my connection?
Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Foreign Minister, you have a number of titles. Thank you so much for being with us.
Seems to be demanding even territories that he can't conquer. And in Europe, we think that the time of European colonialism should be over.
Should be, but is it?
You mentioned the costs that Russia has mounted to date. President Trump made a personal appeal to President Putin to stop bombarding cities like Kyiv, neighboring towns.
Yeah, that has not worked. Russia has continued to bomb Kyiv.
Russia hasn't done so. They've continued those bombardments.
And Trump said, whatever. He has not done it for a few days. I'll take what I can get, because Trump is extremely soft on Russia, and there is a very particular reason why Trump is extremely soft on Russia. That is because his main goal is to do business on rare earth and any other resources that he can get. That is the primary reason why he is so soft on Russia.
What does that do to the perception of leverage that the American president has over the Russian president?
Well, and not only that, these are war crimes. To deliberately target civilian...
It doesn't matter. Nobody, there's... War crimes is... A war crime is something that is part of international law. Okay? And Mr. Trump does not care about international law. So by extension, he does not really care about war crimes. If Trump says that he does not need international law, then it also follows that he also has no respect for things like genocide, crimes against humanity, and any of the established frameworks within international law. So that's a moot point. And also, Trump has long lost any credibility when it comes to those negotiations. He promised to end the war within 24 hours. And now it's been well over a year that he has failed to achieve anything. He has failed to achieve basically anything in that regard. It is pathetic. It's like there's no credibility left to salvage. Putin very much feels like he can do whatever and get away with it. Like, we have plenty of examples. He promised Trump that he would not attack Kyiv for a week. As much as I said that I had no faith in that promise, it still is very pathetic to see that he just completely ignored him. Completely ignored him. He didn't care in the slightest.
Infrastructure is a war crime. Vladimir Putin is already an indicted war criminal for his stealing and Russifying Ukrainian children.
Yeah, but again, this is something that exists within the bounds, within the structures of international law. We cannot ignore that. We cannot ignore that Trump has a big amount of contempt for the very idea of international law. So why would he care? Why would he care about that? He does not. The answer is he doesn't. What is happening? What the hell? Technical difficulties. But yes, the answer is that he does not.
Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Foreign Minister, you have a number of titles. Thank you so much for being with us
My
today.
pleasure.
You're here.
So this is not someone we trust, and is not someone that the US should trust.
Oh no, the US, the Trump administration very much trusts him. The Trump administration trusts that Russia can do great business with the United States. When the United States companies bravely enter Russian soil and start excavating and then refining rare earth minerals. Because Russia is apparently so incompetent that it cannot do it. It can only extract and refine a fraction of what it possesses, which is why the United States and Trump in particular see such great opportunity for business there.
And let me just dwell on this point, because I was myself brought up on one of those communist housing estates that you see on pictures in Ukraine, where most people live in Ukraine. So you see, it's not like individual houses. They rely on area electricity and area heating. When you hit those plants, these tower blocks and housing estates have no electricity, no heating, and no water.
I also, by the way, grew up in a block like that. I also grew up in an apartment block, so it's clear. That was my childhood as well.
You actually have to draw water down from the radiators, because otherwise they would burst. These houses become uninhabitable. This is what Russia is doing to a people that it claims is part of the Russian nation. And that, of course, is a classic colonial narrative. And we should see it for what it is. And we should, for this war to end, we should put pressure not on the victim of aggression, but on the aggressor.
Yeah, there is a pretty subtle way of pointing out that the United States only pressures Ukraine and never pressures Russia, which speaks that the relations between the United States and Ukraine are not so great. The United States is not really doing anything to actually get a just peace, to get a just resolution to this war. It is undeniable.
Which is to say Vladimir Putin.
And how do you perceive American willingness to up that pressure on Russia?
Not big. Not big at all. Not big in the slightest. I wonder what kind of diplomatic magic will we hear now to justify the actions of Trump for the entirety of 2025 and now 2026. I'm so curious as to what sort of diplomatic amazing trickery will we witness right now?
Well, we as Europe have already contributed much more to the effort of sustaining Ukraine.
Okay.
And now we are financing the war entirely. The US financing ended in January last year. So we've spent roughly 200 billion, and we've
that's not really an answer to the question. It is partially an answer to the question. The willingness is not big, but let him cook.
Did 90 billion
to
sustain Ukraine for the next
let
2
him
years.
cook.
The US is providing some intelligence. We jointly do sanctions.
Which paused the intelligence for a bit, by the way. At some point, the US paused the intelligence as well.
Important. And now the US is engaged in a diplomatic initiative, which we hope will be successful.
Very diplomatic answer. I have no hope that it will be successful. Not the way that it's being done right now.
But it'll achieve success only when Putin recalculates whether he can achieve his aims at an acceptable cost.
And
which means that we are not getting any closer to that because Putin thinks he is winning and the United States is doing nothing to pressure Russia. So we are at an impasse effectively, aren't we?
Most effective way to do that, to force that recalculation?
Is to deprive him of the resources to carry out with...
To shadow fleet, refining capability, not buying Russian energy, not providing Russia with parts for the drones and weapons.
This conquest. So we need to continually update our sanctions on the clunker fleet, on refineries, on banks, on those who breach sanctions, so that Putin is deprived of the resources to pay his contract soldiers and to oil his war machine.
We are on the cusp of the New START treaty, this nuclear pact between the US and Russia expiring. Are we entering now an area of unconstrained nuclear competition?
Who knows?
How much more dangerous is the world about to become?
I think it would have been helpful to have measures that regularize contacts and make things more predictable. But remember that the architecture of security in Europe was dismantled also by Russia, mainly by Russia, in fact, by developing missiles with ranges bigger than allowed by the treaties, by invading Ukraine, but also by very aggressive exercises and so on, by placing nuclear weapons in Belarus, in the Kaliningrad Oblast, and so on. You make such treaties not between friends, but between adversaries. Poland is not a nuclear state, so we don't. We trust the United States on these issues.
Well, that's a mistake. Trusting the nuclear umbrella under Donald Trump is a very risky strategy. It is, in my mind, it is just a mistake.
We would wish for the regime of monitoring and confidence-building measure in Europe to be denser, but it's very difficult to do, and one country gives itself the right to change borders by force, gives itself the right to invade her neighbors.
Poland is not a nuclear state, but it wants at least some of a nuclear umbrella. It's made advances toward France, it said publicly, at least Prime Minister Tusk has. I think President Karol Nawrocki has as well, that it would be interested in hosting nuclear weapons on its territory. Where do those discussions stand?
These issues are best discussed in
Uh-oh. It stopped. Day 57. I'm having some technical
Mr.
difficulties.
Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Foreign Minister, you have a number of titles. Thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
You're here in part to celebrate 250 years of
about that. And I think this discussion, as I've mentioned, is best done at the Nuclear Planning Group, of which I sometimes attend.
Okay. Let me ask you, your Prime Minister, Donald Tusk.
He is a good politician, though. I will give him that. He is a pretty good politician. He's a pretty crafty person.
Recently announced that Poland would be investigating whether Jeffrey Epstein had any connections or involvement with Russian intelligence services.
It's more than that. It's also investigating on whether or not who in Poland has been cooperating in the kidnapping of Polish children to provide for his pedophile ring, which is also pretty important in my opinion, right?
What leads your government to suspect that he did?
Well, there are reports in the British press to that effect. There are also, I'm told, I haven't read 3 million pages, of this monster seeking Polish children to recruit for his horrible activities. So, of course, when Polish citizens are either harmed or doing harm, we investigate.
Mm-hmm. The Prime Minister said that Russian intelligence may possess compromising materials against many leaders still active today. Do you know whom he's suggesting there?
Well, honey traps, that's a classic KGB tactics. And there seem to have been a lot of horrible compromise being produced.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it requires investigation.
Has the Polish government enlisted elements of the American government to share more information or resources on this matter?
This is very fresh, so I don't exclude it, but as the foreign ministry, we would be just helping our justice ministry, which obviously has to be in the lead.
If I may go back to the Ukraine talks for a moment, because tomorrow the trilateral talks among the US, Russia, and Ukraine will end.
This has happened before. This has definitely happened before the ambassador debacle. I feel like they're not going to be talking about this. This interview happened before the tension between Poland and the United States has arose.
Enter their second day. Today, U.S. officials called them productive. What are your expectations for their outcome?
Well, when soldiers are released from captivity, and as you know, some of them were very badly...
I mean, I think it's for the Polish government to investigate.
...mistreated.
But that is true, death of Filip August.
By the Russians. That's a good thing in itself. And, hopefully it'll lead to other concessions. But, these colonial wars usually take a decade, and they only end when the aggressor comes to the conclusion, as I've already mentioned, that he cannot achieve.
Also check out my Patreon since you're here. I might as well do some announcement in the middle of this. On Tuesday, I'm going to have a conversation with a person called Dave Worley. Dave Worley used to have a podcast, and he basically took part in calling out Lawrence Krauss's sexual harassment of people during conferences. And he, 6 years ago, give or take, had a very awkward interview with an organizer of an atheist event who defended sexual abuse of women. And as we know, Lawrence Krauss is prominent in the Epstein files. So I'm going to discuss the issues with that podcaster, reminisce on that interview 6 years ago, how that defense of abuse from years ago is related to our current day discoveries. So I certainly welcome you to tune in at Tuesday. It'll be 4 p.m. EST, I believe, because it's 10 p.m. my time. 10 p.m. my time is 4 p.m. EST. He's going to be talking about Lawrence Krauss, Epstein, and a person called Lance. That's going to be an interesting time for sure.
His conquest at an acceptable cost. And I hope we give Putin the incentives to come to that conclusion.
The problem is that the United States is not willing to push. The big thing that the United States has found itself in, the big problem that the United States has found itself in is the dilemma of the United States is that it kind of sort of wants to end the conflict, because if it ends the conflict, then it will finally be able to do business with Russia, which is the main point. But the problem for the United States is that if it pushes Russia too much, that if it gets too much concessions from Russia, that if Ukraine comes out too much on top at the end of this war, then Russia might not be willing to do business with the United States. That is the main problem. Okay? Okay.
Mark Rutte warned European nations to be prepared to fight a war of the likes that their grandparents and great-grandparents experienced. Is that how you see the threat from Russia?
Well, they've invaded us many times in the past.
Technical issues once again.
Experienced. Is that how you see the threat from Russia?
Well, they've invaded us many times in the past, so it is thinkable. Russia has also lost plenty of wars in its history. Poland is spending the biggest proportion of its GDP on defense in NATO, including the United States.
Yeah, but there's a lot of issues here. Poland does not have the budget of the United States, so it's spending more of its GDP than the United States is basically a meaningless statement, because the United States might be spending less of its total GDP, but it has a lot bigger GDP in total, so it can produce more and better. So it doesn't matter if Poland spends more % of its GDP. It's just doesn't mean anything in relation to the United States. That's one. And second of all, Europe, if it wants to be at any level competitive with the rest of the world when it comes to manufacturing of weapons, it has to do it in unison. Individual nation states cannot hope to be able to compete, to be able to perform by having its own individual manufacturing and just by trying to do it on their own with their GDP. There has to be a European Union-wide effort to create a streamlined manufacturing of weapons and a streamlined military. That is the only way to go.
We are also a huge customer for US equipment.
Also, Europe has to become more independent from US equipment while we're at it. Okay? Being the big customer of the United States and its weapons actually right now as things stand is not a winning strategy.
It's being manufactured in 16 US states. Apache helicopters, Abrams tanks, F-35s, we already have F-16s.
But right now, it is a liability to become some dependent of the United States equipment.
HIMARSes, you name it. If we do what we've pledged ourselves to do at the Hague NATO Summit, namely, after doubling defense spending by comparison with Trump 1, doubling it again, I'm confident that we will have the kind of army, not only Poland but also Europe, that Putin will respect and not wish to test. And simultaneously, we would also become a more valued partner in Washington. What's not to like?
You recently called for something like a European Legion, not a federalized fighting force, but a European Legion. What do you say to those who say that might undermine NATO, or at least sow confusion such that Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Foreign Minister, you have a number of titles.
I have no
Thank you
clue
so
what's
much for being
happening.
with us
My
today.
pleasure.
You're here in part to celebrate confusion such that it undermines transatlantic relations and defense.
I say this, that NATO is for the serious task of deterring Putin. But we have lower order emergencies. You have your southern border, we have our southern border. On the other side of the Mediterranean, in Libya, we have a bunch of warlords and the Russian mercenaries, Africa Corps, they call themselves charmingly. We should not be defenseless, and we should not always call on the United States to be able to deal with such threats. We should be able to stop migration across our southern border by deploying a small European force to, for example, secure the ports so that the people smugglers can't ply their horrible trade.
Basically, another part of the international global-wide dehumanization of asylum seekers and refugees. Brilliant. That's a topic that needs a comprehensive look at, because I do not support the brutalization of asylum seekers. That's for sure. And unfortunately, it is very much a global trend. And it's just going to get worse. As Trump is walking away from all sorts of anti-global warming measures, he has decided to lift any sort of regulation on how much emissions cars can produce. Because who cares about our planet? Which means that we're just, instead of stopping, keep in mind, when all these things were in place, already all scientists around the world were saying, it's not enough, we have to do more, or else we are reaching a point of no return. But now, people like Trump have decided, fuck it, we're just gonna get rid of all those regulations. So now we are, I guess, speedrunning towards parts of the world becoming uninhabitable, and which means, in turn, that we will see a far worse humanitarian crisis than we are looking at now. And already we are seeing violence and brutalization of those people. We are already seeing a state of affairs that can be described as a proto-genocide. I wonder how things will turn out when a whole lot more people will move towards different countries because their own countries will become unsustainable for life. Well, I wonder what will happen.
Do you think that wouldn't disincentivize American support?
No, look, European Union has already acted militarily. You may not know this. We've struck pirates in the Horn of Africa. We've conducted military operations in Africa already. So I'm just talking about regularizing it, putting it on a permanent footing, so that we are ready to deter lower order threats.
I understand we're likely to run out of time. I would love to ask you, though, how you view Poland's role in preserving Arctic security.
Well, we've been active in the Arctic for decades. I was in Norway the day before yesterday, and I've agreed with my Norwegian colleague that next year we would visit the Polish station on Spitsbergen, which has been there for 70 years. So we also have an interest in preserving the ecosystem of the Arctic, but also denying it as a as a place from which Western security could be adversely affected.
And how do you see that threat today from Russia and China to Arctic areas, including surrounding Greenland?
Well, Russia, through its criminal war, is actually depriving itself of benefits, because of global warming. The northern route, the fastest route from Europe to China.
Well, it's okay. Trump is making sure that we'll all be screwed over by global warming. So there's no need to be alarmed. There is no need to fear. We're all gonna die
Could
soon
open
enough.
up, and Russia would be the beneficiary. Instead, they choose to fight their neighbors. We need to stabilize the situation in Arctic. I hope it becomes an area of peaceful collaboration rather than confrontation.
How else are you using this visit to the United States? What are you pressing for in terms of European interests and in terms of Polish interests?
Well, the Critical Minerals Conference convened by Secretary Rubio, we also heard from Vice President Vance, is an example of American leadership. We've identified a problem, namely that the supply of critical materials might be restricted. So we are looking for a common solution. This is how leadership works. You provide leadership, but you also need some followers. And I hope we'll find jointly a way to make our economies more resilient.
Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Foreign Minister, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Great. Amazing. That was cool. Okay, we did the interview. I bet nobody else will cover this. So again, whenever there's anything that's Polish related, whenever there's anything that is Polish adjacent, you know that nobody else but me will cover it. So I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm here to make things better, to make news coverage great again under my tutelage as a Polish streamer. All right. Now we are at a crossroad. We have a few options. We can go through we can talk about the fact that a Ukrainian sports person was disqualified for trying to bring attention to their dead family, which is pathetic on the part of the Winter Olympics, but what can I expect at this point? Or we can go through some of the infamous at this point Ukraine hearings with the Prosecutor General. I think we'll do that. I think we're gonna watch some of the I'll go because it's comedy gold, okay? We're not gonna watch the whole 5 hours, of course. But you know what? By God, we're gonna watch some of it. By God, we are going to watch some of it because it's pure comedy. It is comedy incarnate. Unfortunately, it is comedy incarnate. Incarnate comedy. It is the most pathetic thing that you can see. All right, let's just edit the title. Watching some of the Prosecutor General watching some of the Epstein thing. Boom. We have updated the title. There we go. Here we go. All right. All right. We're not watching the whole 5 hours. I mean, if I forced myself, I could, but no, we're just going to go through bits and pieces. We're gonna skim through it. Of course, we're gonna watch this glorious beginning because we are all patriots. At the end of the day, the United States will conquer the world, so we better prepare. The republic for which it stands. Beautiful, amazing. It brings tears to my eyes.
We'll begin with opening statements. The chair is now recognized. 18 cities, 11 states, 3 counties, and the District of Columbia are sanctuary jurisdictions, accounting for 31% of the population in this country. 31% of the American people, almost 1/3 of the American people, live in a city, county, or state where the left-wing leadership tells local law enforcement not to work with federal law enforcement.
Yeah, don't work with ICE that brutalizes the citizens. Yeah, this seems like good advice to me.
Now, what does that mean in practice? Let's look at Abraham Gonzalez.
It means not working with ICE. It's not some sort of a mystery, okay? We're not working with... We don't need a detective, okay? We don't need we don't need Batman on the case to know what's happening here.
September 20th, 2023, was arrested by Border Patrol for illegally entering the United States. And of course, the Biden administration released him into the country. 5 months later, February 26, 2024, Mr. Gonzalez is charged with assault. 2 weeks later, March 11, 2024, he's charged with felony motor vehicle theft, stole a car. And on March 20th, 2024, 9 days later, he's arrested by the Denver police and placed in the Denver Justice Center. 6 days later, March 22nd, 2024, ICE sends a detainer notice to the Denver Justice Center saying this: if you're going to release Mr. Gonzalez, can you give us a heads up? Can you let us know maybe 48 hours before you're going to release this guy so we can come apprehend him there at the jail? And remember, a detainer is a final order of removal from a court where this individual's committed some removable offense.
Brilliant.
On February 28th, 2025, Abraham Gonzalez is released to the streets. In fact, we can put that up. I think you can see this. Released, we got the form from the Denver Justice Center. What kind of inmate was Mr. Gonzalez for those 345 days that he was in the Denver Justice Center? We have that too. Violent to the staff, keep separate. So this guy was so bad, you had to keep him away from other inmates.
Was bad?
He'd already assaulted some staff member, but Denver released this guy to the streets and instead of turning him over to ICE agents who would have come to the jail and arrested him there. And of course,
yes, of course, brilliant. ICE. Let's put our trust in ICE, the people that murder citizens who they don't like. Amazing. That is such an amazing solution. Let's do it.
we all know what happens.
Okay, let's skim through it.
Users who trafficked and raped them.
I already said that I will not be watching the entirety of 5 hours.
You've got to your client the best lawyer's job in America because your mission. Thank you kindly, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
Mr. Raskin.
And welcome Attorney General Bondi. You've got the best lawyer's job in America.
My God, Bondi is such an embarrassment. This has brought to light for me just how much of an embarrassment the current administration is. This person, this attorney, this Prosecutor General, oh my God. Oh my goodness. What a farcical hearing. What a joke. I've watched some of this and oh my goodness. What a joke.
Your mission is justice and your clients are the American people. But to promote justice for the people, you've got to listen to the victims, like the women seated behind you today. Those are just some of the hundreds of survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's global sex trafficking ring.
The fact that the victims' names were not redacted, but the perpetrators' names were redacted. The fact that a lot of them were not even heard, the victims. The fact that the main response from the Prosecutor General is, yeah, but Trump is doing such a great job for America. It's pathetic. It's horrifying.
Who are demanding that the truth be told and are demanding accountability for the abusers who trafficked and raped them.
Oh yeah, and of course, let's not forget, and I already did a mini segment on that today, that Trump said that the whole thing is just boring. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand why anybody would be interested in the Epstein case. Why would anybody care about bringing to justice the perpetrators of the biggest pedophilic ring in history? Why would anybody care?
I haven't met with these survivors. So with their permission, let me introduce to you the survivors and late survivors' family members who are present today. There's Teresa Helm, there's Jess Michaels, Laura Bloom McGee, Danny Bensky, Liz Stein, Marina Lacerda, Sky and Amanda Roberts, who are the family of the late Virginia Giuffre, Charlene Rouchard, and Lisa Phillips. Now, you're not showing a lot of interest in the victims, Madam Attorney General, whether it's Epstein's human...
Well, in the case of Trump, he's not even showing much interest in the entirety of the case. Or maybe he's just trying to cope about the fact that he is the most prominently featured person in those files.
Trafficking ring, or the homicidal governmental violence against citizens in Minneapolis. As Attorney General, you're siding with the perpetrators and you're ignoring the victims.
Yeah.
That will be your legacy unless you act quickly to change course. You're running a massive Epstein cover-up right out of the Department of Justice. You've been ordered by subpoena and by Congress to turn over 6 million documents, photographs, and videos in the Epstein files, but you've turned over only 3 million. You say you're not turning over the other
What's in the remaining files?
3 million because they're somehow duplicative, but we know that there are actual memos of victim statements in there. And you also took down the Department of Justice's prosecution memo from 2019. So it's clearly not all duplicative, but even if it were, why not release it? Just release all the duplicative stuff. In the half you did produce, you redacted the names of abusers,
Not
enablers,
victims.
accomplices, and co-conspirators, apparently to spare them embarrassment and disgrace, which is the exact opposite of what the law ordered you to do. Even worse, you shockingly failed to redact many of the victims' names, which is what you were ordered to do by Congress. Some of the victims had come forward publicly, but many had not. Many had kept their torment private, even from family and friends, but you published their names,
Yep.
their identities, their images on thousands of pages for the world to see. So you ignored the law, and even with over 100,000 employees at your disposal, you acted with some mixture of staggering incompetence, cold indifference, and jaded cruelty towards more than 1,000 victims raped, abused, and trafficked. This performance screams cover-up. Convicted sex trafficker and groomer Ghislaine Maxwell opened the gates of hell.
I mean, there's definitely some cover-up going on here. That is my opinion. But it's just an opinion, you know?
Giuffre and hundreds of other victims, as Virginia recorded in her remarkable book, Nobody's Girl. But when Maxwell was subpoenaed to come testify before Congress, you and Todd Blanche quickly moved her from a higher security prison to a minimum security camp in Texas, where she's enjoyed 5-star treatment, including catered meals, private gym time, and access to a therapy puppy. All because Todd Blanche, who's utterly failed to investigate the monstrous crimes of Epstein and Maxwell's co-conspirators, spent 9 hours with Maxwell and satisfied himself that she would have nothing untoward to say about
Therapy puppy. That is so cute.
Donald Trump, which is your only real interest in the matter, based on institutional performance. But abandoning victims and coddling perpetrators is what you do best. When the FBI opened a criminal investigation...
I'm not even in the slightest surprised by this turn of events, by the way. I'm not surprised by the cover-up. I just...
Brutal killing in Minneapolis of Renee Good, a poet and 37-year-old mother of 3, by Trump's masked paramilitary ICE agents, you shut it down. You claim you're investigating the cold-blooded murder of Alex Preddy, an ICU nurse at the VA. But how can we trust the administration when the president and Kristi Noem called Preddy a domestic terrorist and Stephen Miller called him a would-be assassin? Not only do you refuse to share evidence with the state and local investigators and prosecutors in Minnesota, you have blocked their access to the crime scene and the evidence. How are you seeking justice for Marimar Martinez, the Montessori school teacher in Chicago who was shot 5 times by a Border Patrol agent who bragged about it on text? Or the family of Keith Porter, a father of 2 shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent in LA? Or the family of Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, shot and killed in Illinois minutes after he dropped his kids off at school? There's no sign of any movement at the Department of Justice. You even launched a criminal investigation into Renee Good's grieving widow. How sick is that? But it's even worse. You've turned the People's Department of Justice into Trump's instrument of revenge. Trump orders up prosecutions like pizza, and you deliver every time. He tells you to go after James Comey, Letitia James, Lisa Cook, and Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve Board, and members of Congress like Adam Schiff, Mark Kelly, Alyssa Slotkin, Chrissy Houlihan, Jason Crow, Chris DeLuzio, and Maggie Goodlander, to name a few, and you snap to it. You replace real prosecutors with counterfeit stooges who robotically do the president's bidding. Nothing in American history comes close to this complete corruption of the justice function and contamination of federal law enforcement. And the good news is many serious lawyers at DOJ, including some of your own original appointees, have refused your lawless orders. Danielle Sassoon, your original pick for acting U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, resigned rather than follow your corrupt order to quash an indictment against Mayor Eric Adams as a political favor from Donald Trump. A Federalist Society member who clerked for Justice Scalia, U.S. Attorney Sassoon refused to participate in this blatantly corrupt scheme. Her top assistant, Hagan Scotton, an Iraqi war vet and 2-time Bronze Star recipient who clerked for Chief Justice Roberts, and then Judge Kavanaugh, promptly resigned too, writing to your office, quote, "I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion, but it was never going to be me." You and the president nominated Eric Siebert, a 15-year career prosecutor, to be your U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. But after 5 months of investigating Letitia James and James Comey, he found no evidence to justify criminal charges. So you forced him out. You replaced him with Lindsay Halligan, Trump's personal lawyer from the Mar-a-Lago documents case, who had 0 prosecutorial experience and no qualifications. And then you were humiliated when a federal judge found that this corrupt appointment was blatantly unlawful and threw out Halligan's indictments entirely. And grand juries of American citizens have repeatedly rejected your vendettas and baseless indictments brought by the hacks left at DOJ now, with 2 different grand juries in Virginia voting down indictments against Letitia James in a single week. And just yesterday, another grand jury shut down your vendetta factory by rejecting indictments against the 6 members of Congress who had spoken out to remind all service members that they have a duty to refuse illegal orders. You tried to get a grand jury to...
Didn't Trump say that those people should be executed? That refuse to listen to orders that are unlawful?
Indict 6 members of Congress who are veterans of our armed forces on charges of seditious conspiracy simply for exercising their First Amendment rights. I hope you will heed the wisdom and the constitutional patriotism of those grand jurors and not try it again by doubling down on that humiliation. As your best lawyers are sacked for having participated in the January 6th case, or just flee for the exits now, your new lawyers keep lying in court. In dozens of cases, they've been excoriated for lying.
Actually, Ms. Bondi will be actually accused of lying under oath herself during this hearing.
Chief Judge Boasberg, right here in D.C., suggested your Department of Justice perpetrated a fraud on the court. Other judges found your statements to be, quote, inexplicably misleading, patently incredible, totally inconsistent, and so disingenuous that the court is left with little confidence that the government can be trusted to tell the truth about anything. Now, as ranking member, I asked the chairman to add a few extra rounds of questions today because we each have 5 hours of questions, not 5 minutes, but we're stuck with 5 minutes.
I love how the rule is that whenever it was established right off the gate that if she'd start meandering, that if she'd try to speak off topic, that if she tried to not answer the question, then the people that asked the question would reclaim their time and try to get her back on track. That was just established right off the bat. And that is exactly what she proceeded to do, which is why one of the most common things that I kept hearing when watching this was, I reclaim my time, I reclaim my time, I reclaim my time, I reclaim my time.
Give voice to America's victims and survivors and to demand answers about all the corruption and cover-ups that we see at DOJ right now. We've got just one round, so we ask you politely but firmly, Madam Attorney General, please do not waste 1 second of our precious time by evading questions, by changing the subject, or engaging in personal attacks against members of Congress.
Yeah, she will do all that, by the way. She will do every single one of those things that was just listed. Unfortunately, that request fell on deaf ears. Definitely.
We saw your performance in the Senate, and we're not going to accept that. This isn't a game.
It is a game. It is definitely a game, and she did do that behavior, so she doesn't care.
Senate, you brought something with you called a burn book, a binder of smears to attack members personally for doing the people's work of oversight. Please set the burn book aside and answer our questions. And when you hear us reclaim our time, that means it's time for you to stop speaking. We only have 5 minutes, so when we reclaim our time, that means you stop. And if you don't, we will ask the chair to stop the clock and let you go on his time. The quality of justice in America depends on the character of our government. Please do your job and bring the Department of Justice back to the brink.
Unfortunately, the quality of the current government in the US is not... It is not high, I will say that.
The survivors seated behind you and the American people watching everywhere deserve a Department of Justice worthy of its name. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Objection. All of the opening statements will be included in the record. We will now introduce today's witness. The Honorable Pamela J. Bondi has served as the Attorney General of the United States since February 5th, 2025. She previously served in the Office of the White House Counsel, 2 terms as the Florida Attorney General, and spent more than 18 years as a prosecutor. We welcome our witness.
Florida
Thank her for appearing today. We'll begin by swearing you in. Would you please rise and raise your right hand?
Oh boy.
Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, so help you God?
Absolutely.
Let the record show that the witness has answered in the affirmative. Thank you. You can be seated. And please know that your written testimony will be entered into the record in its entirety. Accordingly, we ask that you summarize your testimony. Madam Attorney General, you may begin.
All right. Let's hear. She's just going to say, oh, it's a bunch of nonsense. I cannot believe I'm under such attack. I cannot believe that this would happen to me. Oh, no. Woe is me.
Thank you, Chairman Jordan. Ranking Member...
Oh, yeah, and Trump is the best president ever heard from the discovery of the wheel. He is the best thing since everybody baked their first bread. You're just going to see it's a farce.
Askin and distinguished members of this committee.
This person is a joke. How can such a person be just Prosecutor General? Well, then again, you have RFK Jr. as the Minister of Health. This country is doomed.
Thank you for hosting me here today. I'm grateful for the opportunity to answer your questions,
which I will not do. Absolutely, I will. I am thankful to the opportunity to answer your questions, but don't expect me to answer any of them. Actually, I'll insult you instead.
Department and discuss the most important topic of all.
Donald Trump and his greatness. Let's go. I mean, the victims, of course.
Keeping the American people safe. A little over a year ago, I was sworn into office as the 87th Attorney General of the United States.
Keeping the Americans safe from sleepy Joe Biden, am I right? Am I right? Donald Trump 2028.
I came into office with the goal of refocusing the Department of Justice on its core mission after years of bloated bureaucracy and political
Joe Biden.
weaponization. The Department of Justice's core mission is to fight violent crime, protect the American people, and
By killing them via our ICE agents. We'll protect our citizens by murdering them on the street.
defend the rule of law above all else. While our work is never done, we have made tremendous progress to make America safe again.
Yeah, that's really what a statement considering what's been happening in Minneapolis. Oh yeah, we're making America safe again. Of course.
2025, we saw the lowest murder rate in 125 years. That's nothing short of historic. If you compare 25 to 24, here's what you'll find. The murder rate is down 21%. Robbery down 23%.
Do I have to fact check this or?
Carjacking down 43%. Gun assault down 22%.
ICE assault up X%.
Burglary could go on and on. Crime is declining. This did not happen by accident. The numbers tell an important yet straightforward story. President Trump has given us the resources, the support, and the leadership to protect the American people.
By killing them.
President Trump's policies have saved lives.
By killing them. Have saved lives from continuing.
I cannot think of a policy outcome more important than protecting the lives of American citizens.
By ending them.
Can you? This trend has been especially clear in Washington, D.C. and in Memphis. These are two iconic American cities that spent years in the grip of horrific violent crime. The Department of Justice surged law enforcement resources, and the results came quickly. Crime plummeted in both cities. And I want to make one point loud and clear. We achieved those results by working with Democratic mayors. Public safety does not have a party registration. When your constituents call 911, they don't ask for political views of the responding officer.
This is just nonsense. This is just babble.
Help. I have federal agents in each and every one of your districts. They're here to help, and I am here to help.
You better don't obstruct them. You better don't obstruct them, for example, by observing their work, because that is obstruction according to ICE. Careful now.
Many cities and states have worked with us.
Careful.
And taken advantage of our federal support. Some have not. Meanwhile, a few elected officials have declared that they are, quote, at war with the federal government and encouraged widespread obstruction.
I wonder why. Right now, just riding in your car just behind ICE agents is considered obstruction. Filming ICE agents is considered obstruction. I think Dylan Burns went recently to Minneapolis, and his work as a journalist was considered obstruction, wasn't it? It's all obstruction. It's all bad.
Of law enforcement.
God forbid anybody observes what ICE actually does.
This has resulted in avoidable clashes on the streets, as you've all seen. We've seen rioters storming a Christian church. Citizens and law enforcement officers have both been endangered by reckless rhetoric. We have made dozens of arrests in and around Minneapolis so far, and many of them could have...
Yeah, and also you have killed a bunch of people, haven't you? We mentioned that. Also, in most cases, ICE does not even have the jurisdiction to do arrests, so...
been avoided by simple compliance with federal law.
Yeah, the deaths could have been avoided if you just, I don't know, kneeled and begged for forgiveness.
Of course, our efforts reach beyond our urban centers. We are striking crucial blows against terrorist organizations such as MS-13, TDA, the Sinaloa cartel, and Antifa.
Yeah, we are fighting the anti-fascists. We are striking crucial blows to people that hate fascists. That is so great to hear. That is so great to hear that you're striking crucial blows against the Antifa. Anti-fascists. Amazing. Thanks.
And as we sit here,
Thank you.
I think you've seen the news this morning. The news is reporting that cartel drones are being shot down by our military. That's what we all should care about right now. Protecting America.
Oh boy.
As we seek to dismantle these drug trafficking networks that poison Americans, in 2025, our DEA agents seized more than 47 million fentanyl pills and more than 9,800 total kilos of fentanyl. That represents 360.
Also, Trump has done such a bad job that he was just forced to basically announce that he is pulling ICE out of Minneapolis. So
9 million potentially deadly doses that can kill Americans. Meanwhile, our attorneys are fighting for President Trump's agenda in court.
why use fentanyl when, you know, ICE agents can do it a lot faster and it's cheaper?
Courtrooms across this country. This administration has been sued 627 times.
I wonder why.
We've fought through a nonstop flood of bad faith temporary restraining orders from liberal activist judges.
Yeah, of course. It's all liberal activist judges that, you know, try to stop Trump from raping the Constitution.
Country, America has never seen this level of coordinated judicial opposition.
I wonder why. I wonder why there's a... I really wonder why there could be a coordinated judicial opposition to Donald Trump. Wow, color me surprised. How can this happen?
Presidential administration. It is not only an unlawful attack on the executive branch's authority, but a serious attack on the democratic process.
Yeah, of course. Protecting the democratic process is a serious impeachment on the democratic process, and basically opposing Trump in any way is just treason. It all makes perfect sense if you think about it, of course. Or if you don't think about it at all.
In spite of this unprecedented judicial activism, we've attained...
Yeah, when you try to actually, you know, there's a division of power. Judicial is supposed to keep the president in check, but when it actually does its job, yeah, that's activism. That's just liberal judiciary activism.
24.
One of the branches of government doing its job actually is just treason, I guess. We all know this. It is well known.
Favorable rulings at the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yes, the Trump-stacked Supreme Court. Yeah, that means so much.
Their emergency docket and even more to come. We've done so while ending the weaponization of the prior administration by dropping FACE Act prosecutions, exposing the Arctic frost scandal via congressional disclosure, thank you, Chairman, and restoring one tier of justice in this country. To address the Epstein files, more than 500 attorneys and reviewers spent thousands of hours painstakingly reviewing millions of pages to comply with Congress's law. We've released more than 3 million pages, including 180,000 images, all to the public.
Yeah, and somehow you were not able to release all the documents. Interestingly enough, still, you were not capable of releasing all of the documents. I wonder why.
While doing our very best in the time frame allotted by the legislation to protect victims. And if you brought us...
Yeah, by not redacting their names and by redacting the names of their abusers. Yeah, brilliant. You really are protecting the victims, huh? Especially their identities. Especially that.
A victim's name that was inadvertently released, we immediately redacted it.
Yeah, we redacted it after everybody already saw it, shared it, and distributed it. It's like, what a joke. Oh yeah, we redacted it after the fact, after it was already released, after the damage was already done. That does a lot for the victims. Of course.
All members of Congress, as you know, are invited to visit DOJ to see for yourselves. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the Epstein survivors who are here today. I'm a career prosecutor, and despite what the ranking member said, I have spent my entire career fighting for victims, and I will continue to do so.
Yeah.
I am deeply sorry for what any victim has been through, especially as a result of that monster. If you have any information to share with law enforcement about anyone who has hurt you or abused you, the FBI is waiting to hear from you. I want you to know that any accusations of criminal wrongdoing will be taken seriously and investigated. The Department of Justice is committed to holding criminals accountable to the fullest extent of the law. In 2025, the FBI arrested over 1,700 child predators, a 10% increase from 2024. We also located 2,700 victims of child exploitation and shut down 3.8 million dark web pedophile accounts. 3.8 million. So please, if you have information to share that needs to be investigated, contact the FBI. Today, I look forward to discussing further our shared obligation to protect the American people, uphold the rule of law, and keep this nation safe. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. That is the obligation, isn't it? What a joke. What a joke person.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Attorney General. The chair now, we now proceed under the 5-minute rule. The chair recognizes the gentleman from California for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam General, thank you for your extensive remarks, particularly on your continued investigation of those responsible over the years in the Epstein debacle. Obviously, you have an amazingly full docket between civil rights, between criminal, between so-called white-collar crime, and doing so, as the chairman said, at a time in which both you and the president are under attack and our ICE agents and FBI and others are under attack when they try to enforce the law. I personally want to apologize for those who would embolden, support, or even stand with those lawbreakers that sit on this and other daises here in Congress. My job generally is to talk about patents and trademarks as the chairman of that subcommittee. I'll forego that today because one of my other jobs is the creation and maintenance of Article III judges, and I work with the Chief Justice on that, and we're trying to expand the court. But currently, there are only 677 district court judges. They have very full dockets as well. But you create a tremendous amount of judges, particularly immigration judges. You do so in order to save the court that, but adjudicate, as is requirement, each of those people who claim a right to be here in the United States. And that has been going on under Republican and Democratic administrations for years. What's unique about the Trump administration this time is that you and President Trump have managed to reduce the backlog of people seeking that for the first time in decades. You are getting ahead of that tremendous backlog that caused,
glazing,
for better or worse, the release of millions of people with little pieces of paper saying, come back later when we call you, and often to no avail when you call. So I want to congratulate you on that, because it's an accomplishment you might not take credit for, and the other side would never give you credit for. But I hope you can continue to do that and do more. And I say so for a reason, because much of this hearing will be about Minneapolis and other places in which the backlog of criminal aliens, including in my home state of California, people who have hurt other people, people who have victimized their communities, is extensive. And although the overall number through adjudication may be going on, because of places like my home state, California, you're unable to apprehend people that my sheriffs want apprehended. They desperately want to cooperate, and they're prohibited by law. It is this committee's opinion on this side of the aisle that, in fact, you should be given the ability to demand that participation, and that the release of a known criminal not be considered to be acceptable just because a state or a city has declared itself a sanctuary. I want you to opine on just one thing that I think has been misunderstood. As I said earlier, you create and maintain those judges that adjudicate these cases. You also support so many that, in fact, have to make decisions as judges. Knowing that this limitation of so few Article III judges are there, please educate those who seem to miss the point that Article I judges, including bankruptcy judges, including immigration judges, including lots of people with the title appropriately judge, do in fact issue documents that look like, act like, and are normally accepted as warrants, as subpoenas, as demands for state officials to stand aside and allow the production of either an individual or documents. Because I think people are missing the point that these ICE retainers and detainers and so on, they act like they're nothing, when in fact, in the ordinary course, Madam General, you do in fact have Article I judges constantly putting those out, and they are respected normally.
No, they try to enter houses without any sort of warrant.
Thank you, Congressman, for talking about all the great judges. And if I could add one thing to that, we are always recruiting and looking for judges. So please reach out to our office for these judges who are handling all these very important matters. We've even added some JAG officers as immigration judges.
Thank you.
And so we're continuing to do that, but we're always seeking qualified lawyers as well to be part of that. And thank you for highlighting that, Congressman.
Thank you. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The gentlelady from Washington is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Attorney General Bondi, right here. We are joined in this room by some of the thousands of survivors from Jeffrey Epstein's horrific sex trafficking ring. They have shown such incredible courage in speaking out, in demanding accountability to bring the predators and pedophiles to justice. The Epstein Files Transparency Act required your Department of Justice to disclose the perpetrators connected with Epstein's criminal activities and to redact the information of survivors to protect their identities. Let me show you what actually happened. First, in violation of the law, your department has shown a pattern of redacting the names of powerful predators. Here behind me is one example of an email from Epstein to a man whose name was redacted. The email reads, quote, Where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video.
Yeah.
Only after members of Congress demanded that we see the unredacted files did the world learn the name of this individual, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the chairman and CEO of a company that had financial ties to President Trump's business and personal ties to Trump's advisors.
I wonder why the name was redacted. To a person that had ties to Trump's business. I wonder why.
Steve Bannon. Second, the survivors were not similarly protected, also in violation of the law. Here is another email titled Epstein Victim List. We have blurred the names of the survivors for their protection, but your Department of Justice initially released this list of 32 survivors' names with only one name redacted, along with numerous files that disclose not only the names, the emails, and the addresses of survivors, but also nude photographs and even the identities of Jane Does who had been protected for decades until your department released their names.
Great. That is how the Department of Justice keeps Americans safe, keeps the victims safe.
Survivors are now telling us that their families are finding out for the first time that they were trafficked by Epstein. In their words, quote,
Yes, the former Israeli Prime Minister also is in the files.
This release does not provide closure. It feels like a deliberate attempt to intimidate survivors, punish those who came forward, and reinforce the same culture of secrecy that allowed Epstein's crimes to continue for decades.
Yeah.
To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice. Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
She will absolutely not apologize for any of it. She will deflect, she will insult, but one thing that she will absolutely never do is apologize for any of it. I can already tell you that it's not something that is unexpected or shocking. It is, in fact, very predictable.
Congresswoman, you sat before Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General Bondi,
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question that I would like you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't like the answer. So,
Mr. Chairman, I have asked
didn't she ask
It's not an answer to the question. Talking about the previous administrations or what, that's not the answer to the question. It's just not an answer.
Garland this.
I am reclaiming my time, and when I reclaim my time, it is
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady's reclaimed her
I'm not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentlelady. The gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Thank you. you're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say this.
I'll direct it to
what
you.
a massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a
Mr.
question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness is interrupting.
The gutter with this woman.
Stop the
She's
time
doing
and
theatrics.
let me have my
The
time.
gentlelady from Washington controls the time. The gentlelady has 17 seconds. You can proceed with your final
Thank you.
17 seconds.
What a massive cover-up this has been and continues to be. Donald Trump made the release of the Epstein files the center of his political campaign because he thought it would benefit him. Then you got into office, Attorney General, claimed to have a client list, only to then say that there was no list. Your deputy, Todd Blanche, met alone with Ghislaine Maxwell and transferred her to a minimum security prison. And now you continue the cover-up. And I wish that you would turn around to the survivors who are standing right behind you and on a human level,
Chairman,
the chair now recognizes the chair.
That will never happen.
You have done.
Time of the gentlelady
yield
expired.
back.
The gentlelady, you have no time to yield back.
Theatrics.
We appreciate the thought. And I would argue the central issue in the last election, the presidential election, was securing the border. The gentleman from Arizona who knows something about securing the border is up for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for being here today. In 2022, Lafarge, which is a French cement company, pled guilty in U.S. federal court to participating in a criminal conspiracy with ISIS. That conspiracy contributed to the deaths of U.S. service members fighting in Syria during Operation Inherent Resolve. As part of the plea agreement, Lafarge was required to pay more than $775 million into DOJ's asset forfeiture fund. In February 2025, my colleagues and I sent you a letter urging the department to review the petitions for remission submitted by the families of those fallen service members, including several of my constituents. The previous administration ignored these victims and our requests and left their petitions unresolved. My question for you on this particular issue is if you're willing to work to ensure those families that their petitions will be reviewed and brought to a resolution.
Congressman, we are aware of that, and we're committed to doing everything we can to support the victims and work with you. Thank you for that question.
Yeah, appreciate your answer. And now let's go to something that is also pressing that I've been working on for years, and this is the FISA Section 702 and Arctic frost. In January 2025, you testified before the U.S. Senate and agreed with Senator Lee that, quote, anytime an American citizen's private communications are intercepted or stored, whether through incidental collection or otherwise, those communications should not be searched without some showing of probable cause. Close quote. You still hold that view today, I assume?
Yes.
And during the most recent FISA reauthorization, I offered an amendment to establish a clear warrant requirement for searches of Americans' data while preserving every publicly cited operational exception, including emergencies, defensive queries, cybersecurity threats. And my intent was to ensure the Department of Justice could continue to keep Americans safe while also ending warrantless searches of U.S. persons' data. Are there any additional circumstances or exceptions that you believe must be included to ensure DOJ can continue to operate effectively while still protecting American citizens' data and privacy?
Yeah, Congressman, we are committed to working with Congress to uncover weaponization and other misconduct by Jack Smith, by others, Arctic frost, everything that happened under the past administration. And we are committed to working with you on that. And we are working with Chairman Jordan, with the House Intel.
Yeah, she will answer questions. They're going to be solvable, easy questions. But when it gets to questions that are actually anything of substance or meaning, then she'll just deflect, insult, run away.
With all of our my fellow cabinet members on resolving that issue.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad you brought up Arctic frost because Section 702 was used in the Arctic frost investigation.
It was.
And information derived was used by Special Counsel Jack Smith. And my question has always been, and no one's been able to answer this, is what was the legal predicate for using a foreign intelligence authority in the Arctic frost investigation? Have you been able to ascertain any legal predicate?
Congressman, what I can tell you today is that has been referred to my office. I can't discuss anything regarding that because it is very active and ongoing.
And you probably can't answer this one either, but I really want to know if Section 702 queries related to that matter involved members of Congress, which we know on some level it did, congressional staff, which we know at some level did. We've heard that journalists or other U.S. persons not suspecting of acting as foreign agents were also caught up in that. Can you answer that question and say whether queries did cover all those groups I just identified?
It is a very active pending investigation within my office. However, I believe many members of Congress have stated that their phones were part of Arctic frost. We are well aware of that, and we are taking this very seriously, and this is a very active investigation. And I would keep going and say if any member of the Democrat Party, if any of them, if that had happened to them, we would take that just as serious as we do. And they should be jumping up and down, screaming, supporting you and what you want to do. Because done it in 1 year. National media
as M. Adler's question has not yet been answered, but I want to start by asking that out of respect for the American public and the Epstein survivors, some of whom, of course, are here today, that we can have a transparent conversation and get the public the answers they deserve. I want to briefly direct your attention to 2 documents I'm hoping we will put up on the screen. In the first, an individual emails Jeffrey Epstein asking whether a woman identified as M was pro or civilian, and Epstein responds that she was a civilian, Russian, and fun. In the second email, Epstein writes to Steve Tisch about a Ukrainian girl, noting that she was, quote, a little freaked out by the age difference and stating that he would try to convince her not to return to Ukraine. He then instructs Mr. Tisch to call him, adding, I don't like records of these conversations. So I'd like to ask a straightforward question that really is either a yes or no answer. Do these emails constitute credible evidence, not proof, but credible evidence warning further investigation into whether Steve Tisch was involved in Epstein's criminal conduct? Do you think yes or no?
I'm not going to play a yes-no game with you, but I will
There you go.
answer the question to the best of my ability. As I said, we will look and investigate any case.
A non-answer.
Any victim.
A non-answer.
I'm not familiar. There were 3 million pages, of course, with that email. But of course, we will look into anything. The documents have been released, 3 million. The redacted versions, we left them open for all of you to come view. Have you? I believe you view them. If not, will you have some copies?
I'd like to.
Could I finish, please? I'm not being rude. Please.
I only have 5 minutes.
No, yeah, and I only have 30 seconds based on your filibustering.
But you didn't give me a
Filibustering. She asked a single question.
no answer. So let me just go further. Director Patel testified in this committee room that there was no credible information indicating that Epstein trafficked victims to anyone else. And glancing at the documents, that proves that's not the case. In July, your department issued a memo stating that it had conducted an exhaustive review of the Epstein files and concluded that no additional individuals would be charged. So I did go over to the Department of Justice yesterday. I would note that 400 and all our 35 members are in the House, and there's 4 computers. So it would take many months to actually have the time. I only had a few hours. I think the transparency argument is really kind of a sham because it's not really possible.
Whoa. Did you have to wait to get a computer?
It is not possible to really go in. I did, however, see a U.S. attorney information for the Southern District of New York indicating that there were additional survivors and probable co-conspirators. Other members of Congress have uncovered likely co-conspirators whose names were blocked out. Now, the Epstein File Transparency Act, which all but one member of this House voted for and the president signed, requires the department to release everything except that it needs to be redacted to protect the victims or an ongoing prosecution, which apparently there is none from the testimony we have received. I am concerned that this act has not been fully complied with. When Director Patel came to the committee, he admitted that up to 1,000 FBI agents had gone through the files and redacted President Trump's name from them. And it's pretty clear that what has been transmitted from the FBI continues to redact President Trump's name, even though he is mentioned, thousands of times in these files. So I think the credibility of the department in terms of complying with the act has been damaged. And I think the department's credibility has been damaged in other ways. I think we all saw the horrible video of American citizens being killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis. And I think how the department has handled these cases raises a lot of doubt about the department. State and local police in Minnesota got a court order to get access to the crime scene to be sure evidence would be properly preserved by federal agents. But they took the agents defied the court order, and in a departure from general policy, the DOJ is not collaborating with state and local law enforcement on these homicides. So I really think that is a disgraceful approach to the homicides of American citizens, and really...
Yeah, but they don't care. They don't really care. As long as ICE gets to do what it does, it gets its job done. No matter how many U.S. citizens die in the process, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So that is inconsequential to the Trump policy.
Does nothing to bring credit to your department. And Mr. Chairman, I would yield back.
General yields back.
May I answer?
Attorney General can respond.
I find it
She
interesting
sounds so angry.
that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American
In America.
history. And if they could maintain their composure, this isn't a circus, this is a hearing. I find it interesting she keeps going after Donald Trump. She doesn't say how much money she took from Reid Hoffman, did you? None. And nor...
There you go. I told you, not answering questions, but insulting, deflection, running away. That is the way of the Trump administration, I suppose.
Mr. Chairman, regular order, please.
She
regular
posted nothing on her X account, on her Twitter account during the Biden years.
Gentle lady.
And yet now, all of a sudden,
question
she's
asked.
going after
Committee will be in
point of
order.
There was no
Committee will be
question
in
asked
order.
the Attorney General. She doesn't just get to speak.
Committee will be in order.
I have a point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Committee will be in order.
Point of order, Mr.
Gentle
Chairman.
lady can state her point of order.
When a witness attacks...
Not a valid point of order. You got to state.
She hasn't completed her point of order yet. Please let her speak, Mr. Chairman. Let's have some regular order here.
Regular order is you got to state the rule. And
I am trying to make a point of order that the witness,
And what rule are you referring to?
without responding to a question, has attacked me personally. I think it's pathetic that she can't answer the questions and
First
instead
time
is
that,
attacked
that's not even close
members
to a
of the
point of
committee.
order. The gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized.
In August of last year, I sent a letter to the Department of Justice asking for assistance in seeking compensation for the town of Lac du Flambeau. Town of Lac du Flambeau is in my district, and your office replied that it was an ongoing matter and unable to comment on it, which I understand is just fine. But I want to set this up just as a reminder. So 3 years ago, it was at this time of year that 4 roads were blockaded in the town of Lac du Flambeau, and the temperature was 25 below zero. People had to park their cars at a neighbor's place, take the snowmobile across the lake to get their car, and then be able to drive into town. There were people 80 and 90 years old that could not, were very concerned that they'd be able to get emergency medical services. And the perpetrators of this, the tribe out there, they demanded compensation from the town. I would call it extortion. They ultimately got $600,000 from the town of Lac du Flambeau. The unfortunate part, Mr. Chairman, is that the Biden administration took the side of the perpetrators who closed those roads off, and the Biden administration made it clear to the town of Lac du Flambeau that we are not on your side in regards to this. Well, fortunately, there was a federal judge that said, no, this is wrong, what happened, and these roads should be left open, they should continue to be left open. My question to you is, are you willing to work with my office and with the town of Lac du Flambeau to further investigate this matter and seek compensation from the tribal government after their extortion of $600,000 from this little town in northern Wisconsin?
Congressman, you do a great job representing your district. And yes, we would more than welcome working with you. And we are.
Yes, all the questions are questions like, hey, how great is it going to be for us to work together? Yeah, she'll answer those. But any questions that are actually real questions, she'll not answer a single one.
The fact is, ICE is running rampant, and you are not investigating them. When they killed Mr. Prete, and Ms.
Yeah.
Good, that was an execution, and you did not investigate it. And you tried to investigate Ms. Good's widow, and you tried to investigate Mr. Prete. They were executed, like Kristi Noem executed her dog. And that was wrong. And you should investigate those people, and you should investigate anybody that uses a weapon, in federal official or not, for civil rights violations. I yield back the balance.
Gentleman yields back his time. Madam Attorney General, anytime you need a break, just let us know. If not, we'll just keep going. The chair is now recognized for 5 minutes. Madam Attorney General, you're not allowed to exercise your constitutional rights in a way that tramples on someone else's, are you?
No.
No, you can't do that. I mean, you have a right to petition the government under the First Amendment. That doesn't mean you can come into this room and start screaming at Mr. Raskin or me or anybody else and disrupt a congressional hearing. You have a right to protest on the street, but that doesn't give you a right to go into the Capitol and disrupt Congress. Something these guys talk about every day. You can't do that. So when Don Lemon said that he was exercising his First Amendment free press rights, freedom of the press rights, that's not really accurate because he was trampling on other individuals' rights. Is that true?
Chairman, we will always protect our churches and the freedom of religion. And yes, that's accurate.
First right mentioned under the First Amendment, freedom of religion, freedom to practice your faith the way you think the good Lord wants you to, right?
That's right, under the federal government.
And isn't it true that Mr. Lemon met at a shopping center with the rioters who entered City's Church in St. Paul, met with them prior to marching to the church?
He did meet, and this is a pending case right now, so I will only stick to what is in the four corners of the unsealed indictment, if I could, Chairman.
Yeah, I'm
There's a lot more that will come out. But under the four corners of the indictment, yes, he did. They had an operation called Operation Pull-Up. They said they were gearing for a resistance. They met in a parking lot, and they caravanned to a church on a Sunday morning when people were worshiping together.
And Mr. Lemon said that he live streamed before entering the church with the rioters. Didn't he say we're going to head to the operation? Didn't he say this he said this on camera, is that right?
Yes, Chairman,
Yeah.
and more.
That he was in Minnesota and that, as you said, they were gearing up for an operation. So you can't do that. This is why this is, I think, so important that this guy be held accountable, and I think why you guys have charged him and indicted him. Moving to the second subject here, will John Brennan be indicted? Mr. Brennan lied to the committee, which you're not supposed to do. Last Congress, when we deposed him, he definitely, 18 U.S.C. 1001, we're all familiar with it. He lied to the committee, and the committee, the Congress, and I think the country would like to know if, in fact, he's going to be indicted for lying. And here's why it's so important. I'll give you a chance to respond. Here's why it's so important. It wasn't just that he lied to us, it's what he lied to us about. He lied to us about when all this weaponization against the President of the United States started. He lied to us about the dossier, and specifically what role the dossier played in the intelligence community assessment.
Okay, that's
we know back when President Trump was first elected, first
it's
term,
clear that the chairman
this is when it all started, which
pro-Trumper.
led to the Mueller and to the impeachment.
That you're getting to now, there were 500 DOJ lawyers and others assigned the task of redacting the appropriate information, including identities of the Epstein victim survivors from the Epstein files prior to their release. 500, is that correct?
If I could have finished my answer, There were more than 500 attorneys and reviewers who assisted with the. They asked the question and they don't want an answer.
That answers my question, ma'am, and I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on.
From
General
multiple
Bondi, would you
It be in
agree?
order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Georgia.
General Bondi, would you agree that your 8 years of service as the state of Florida's Attorney General, the third largest state in the nation, served as an excellent preparation for your current role as Attorney General for the United States of America?
Not only that, I was a career prosecutor for 18
years. And for
18 years.
And for 18
years.
For 18 years,
he asked a question and doesn't want an answer. This is theatrics.
Well, no, for 18 years, you prosecuted serious felony cases, including drug cases, correct?
Oh, I prosecuted homicides. I prosecuted capital cases. I prosecuted domestic violence cases. I prosecuted multiple cases, and that's why I feel for all of these victims. And did you ask Merrick Garland this when you were sitting before him, sir?
You also prosecuted sexual assault cases and child sex trafficking cases, correct?
I answered that question earlier. I prosecuted multiple cases when I was a prosecutor.
Bottom line, you're an experienced and seasoned.
For 18 years.
Mr. Chairman, will you remind her of the rules? The time belongs to the member of the committee.
You are a seasoned and experienced prosecutor, correct?
I think we established that.
Yes or no?
Does he want an answer or not?
I think he wants to say
I want a yes or no answer.
I think he wants to say
Apparently, it does not apply when it comes to something that is too close to the Trump administration.
I'll live with what you have already said. Let me ask you this question.
Clearly,
in the prosecution of sexual assault cases, you are acutely aware of how important it is to protect the identity of victims of sexual assault, correct?
I have addressed this multiple times. I think others were cutting me off when I was trying to.
Well, I just simply asked, are you aware of the fact that it's vitally important to protect the identity of sexual assault victims as you
She cannot answer, it
prosecute
seems.
the people they accuse of assaulting them? Isn't that correct?
Excuse me. As we have said multiple times,
Protection of the identity
of all victims
of the victims
are
is
protected.
so very
You are
important.
protected under. Do you want me to answer or do you want to interrupt?
Well, because you're not answering the question. You do a Jekyll and Hyde kind of routine around here, and I just want you to answer my questions.
What does Jekyll and Hyde mean? Can you explain
means
that?
you're nice to the
Explain
Republicans and you turn like Hyde on Democrats. But let me ask you this, ma'am. We have the Epstein victim survivors here today. Representative Jayapal asked a simple question. If you would be so kind and honorable as to turn around and face them and apologize to them for outing them. I mean, how many lives have been derailed because your department was either sloppy and incompetent or willfully trying to intimidate and punish these ladies for coming forward? Which was it?
The time of the gentleman has expired. The gentleman yields
Your
back.
time is up.
Now recognizes the gentleman from Wisconsin for 5 minutes.
Attorney General Bondi, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have spent the past several months attacking the administration for doing exactly what the American people wanted when they overwhelmingly elected President Trump, securing our border and enforcing our immigration laws. I find it a bit ironic because this is the same party who just a few years ago were openly supporting strong immigration enforcement after witnessing criminal illegal aliens wreak havoc on the American communities. I have a short video I just wanted to play.
Of immigrants. We're also a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable.
They've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked, they're gone.
No great nation can be in a position where they can't control their borders.
We need to address the issue of immigration and the challenge we have of undocumented people in our country. We certainly don't want any more coming in.
Every place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants.
That's
the
not
public service
exactly
they
true.
use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens.
Illegal immigration is wrong, plain and simple. When we use phrases like undocumented workers, we convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration.
It's just accurate language. That's all that it is. It's just accurate
Which
language.
the American people overwhelmingly oppose. If you don't think it's illegal, you're not going to say it. I think
expired.
May I respond?
I want to...
operation. And as we say here,
And he was Attorney General and set before...
I agree with you.
You twice.
Let's listen to this person and then we'll stop because this is just going to
Thank
be
you,
repeat
Attorney
of the
General Bondi,
same
for being here today.
over and over and over
I'm going
again.
to show you two photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you two photos of former Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Under the law Congress passed, you were allowed to redact photos to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. You redacted the photos of this victim's face because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
I'm sorry that we redacted the victim's
Because you were
face?
following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that please put the photos back up, that we are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients, like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and set before...
I agree with you.
You twice.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Never
I agree
mentioned
with you. I agree with you. During,
Were
the
you not
Biden,
here
during
then?
the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta.
What
a whole
now?
string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're
Right
doing the
now.
opposite. You're protecting them. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to another
Can I answer
question.
your question about protecting
You
Prince
answered the
Andrew?
question.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files, like former Prince. Here's a video.
So boring, huh, Trump?
Former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect.
Should be a simple answer. Should be simple. This should be extremely simple to answer. And yet it seems like Mission Impossible all of a sudden. It's like an obstacle that is impossible to traverse.
From all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
I'm going to claim my time.
be
I got your
released.
answer. You said there's no
President
evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman,
that
please
the
stop the
judge
clock.
sign
Please stop the clock.
the legislation. This is
Time.
this
I'd like
is
to take my
ridiculous.
time.
belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you, here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronize his operation.
But this is such a boring case, the Epstein case, isn't it? Such a boring thing.
And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not ask a question,
But
Ms.
he
Haze.
doesn't
You're
want
allowed
to talk
to.
about
I did
the
not ask a
horrific crime in California. He does not want to talk about
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in his
She
state.
can't just
Madam
ad lib
Attorney
stuff. I did not ask a question.
Meeting will be in order. The gentleman has yielded back his time. I think our next witness will be more than happy to let the Attorney General
Madam
respond.
Attorney General, would you like to?
Gentleman from Alabama is recognized for 5 minutes.
You have a few
Okay,
minutes.
I guess we can end here. We ended on one of the better ones. So I guess that the whole thing speaks for itself. It's just pathetic, unable to answer any question that is not basically glazing Donald Trump or the current administration's policy. It's unable to answer even the simplest questions, unable to even apologize to the victims for not redacting their names. I think that whole thing speaks for itself, and there's not much to add. Okay. I will now, I guess, end stream. This channel is still too small to raid anybody, so I guess I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.